problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 3 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Wednesday, March 12th. Your top story, a Racine County teen bound for trial.
I'm Mike Spalding in for John Mercure. What to know before you go to the NFL Draft.
I'm Debbie Lazago. We've got westbound 94 backing up a bit from just before 27th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. Northbound 43 slowing down just north of North Avenue up to Keefe. Southbound 41's heavy from Silver Spring down past Hampton. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow you get to see the sun. 50 at the lake, 59 inland. Right now it's sunny and 41 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old boy charged with killing his mother is bound for trial. Reed Galinsky faces a count of first-degree murder. Court records say he may have been inspired by a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers when he allegedly hit his mother over the head with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. He's now on bail, set for $1 million, and will return to court this summer.
A teenager arrested in Kansas for theft of his dead stepfather's property made his initial appearance in a Waukesha County courtroom today. 17-year-old Nikita Kassab is in custody right now on a $250,000 bond. The teen is charged with stealing his stepfather's car and his handgun. No charges have been filed related to either the deaths of his father or his mother. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department says additional charges are forthcoming. A preliminary hearing for the teen set for March 24th.
School resource officer training is underway ahead of court-ordered Saturday's deadline to get officers back in Milwaukee Public Schools. Director of Operations for the National Association of School Resource Officers, Mark Hardy, tells TMJ4 News.
Dealing with the adolescent brain development, to understand that, to understand where the brain development is on these kids, working with students with disabilities, understanding traumatized kids, and understanding kids while they're in stress.
The officers must complete 40 hours of training and must pass an examination with a score of 70% or higher.
With the NFL Draft right around the corner in Green Bay, what should you expect if you're heading up there? Green Bay Police Captain Ben Allen.
Sure, it's really that know before you go concept. Utilize all of the social media that's out there, from what the Green Bay Police Department will be posting, the city of Green Bay. You mentioned the NFL One Pass. That is going to be a treasure trove of information for those attending, from parking to restaurants to when things are happening on the footprint space.
The NFL Draft is set to begin on April 24th in Green Bay.
Coming up, facial recognition now required at one comedy club.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 303.
A buck in today's world doesn't go far. unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin, any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of four. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 3:05.
A comedy club in London is banning audience members who can't smile.
The Top Secret Comedy Club says many performers have complained about unresponsive faces in the crowd. The problem? Too many people in the audience have had Botox injected into their faces. The club's owner says comedy thrives off audience reactions and facial expressions are key. He says patrons will now have to submit to facial expression checks at the door to prove their faces can move before they're allowed in. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers are off today, but progress was made for starter Brandon Woodruff, who made his first appearance since 2023 in a minor league game against the Padres. Woodruff faced 5 batters, says he's hopeful to appear in a Cactus League game before spring training ends. The NFL league year and free agent signing period opening up just moments ago. Former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers drawing interest reportedly from the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. Both teams are set to be on the Packers' schedule this season. In college hoops, the Marquette Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play Thursday afternoon at 1:30 against Xavier. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 3:06.
Tax tips are brought to you by the Neal Group. For less stress with the IRS, visit thenealgroup.net. That's NEAL Group.net for a free consultation.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. Tax tip number 7. Did you know a limited liability company, or LLC, can file a tax return 4 different ways? Many businesses form an LLC to separate the business from them personally for legal purposes to avoid liability. But figuring out the best way to file taxes can require some advice from a tax professional. LLCs can file using Form 1040 on Schedule C. LLCs can file as an S corporation or a C corporation using Form 1120S or 1120. LLCs can file as a partnership using Form 1065. There are usually other forms that need to be filed with the IRS before filing as a corporation or a partnership. Other questions surround the LLC designation, too. Can an LLC own another LLC? Yes. Does rental property need to have its own LLC? Maybe, maybe not. There are other reasons to form an LLC, but be sure to know your circumstances before electing which form to file. For more information on this tip and other tax tips, go to nealgroup.net or stop in and see us.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. You know, I get a lot of questions about QC Kinetics treatments, people asking if they should consider it for their own joint pain. Well, here's how you know. If you answer yes to any of these questions. Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees or hips or shoulders or other joints, trouble sleeping or walking? Do you want to avoid surgery? a long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answered yes to any of these questions, don't wait. Call now. Call QC Kinetics and ask for your free consultation and learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can help you get lasting relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Mike Spalding.
At 3:09, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's sunny again, Mike. It's so wonderful.
And getting a little bit warmer after the dip down this morning. So
I know,
nice.
it's so nice. Okay, let's get to it.
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's afternoon news.
Okay, I wanted to share this with you because now it's making headlines. If you text WATCH to our Citing Unlimited Talk and Text line, WATCH, 855-616-1620, WATCH, 855-616-1620. The bottom picture I took just a few days ago, and I texted John, and I was like, what is going on? And it says, do you see it? It says, I bought this Tesla before Elon went crazy. And then the top one is a white Tesla that someone took a photo of, and people are ripping off the Tesla logo and putting Audi logos on it. Why? It's because of all the backlash that some of the Tesla owners are feeling since Elon Musk has been ramping up his support of Donald Trump, digging deeper into his role in the Department of Government Efficiency. So some people are saying that their cars have been torched, even the charging stations. We've seen this on national news being torched. Someone got in a big argument. I was watching on CBS News and on TikTok, saying crazy things, yelling at people when they're getting into their Teslas. I would never think of that, Mike. And then yesterday, did you see when the president said that he was buying a Tesla?
Yes.
And showed all of them?
Can't drive it, but he's buying one.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. So if you text WATCH to 855-616-1620, 2 examples of what Tesla drivers are doing to their vehicles.
So it's not only the logo of the Audi, like the 4 rings, they've also replaced like the bottom left and right logos as well, saying like Audi A5 and stuff. So
I know.
People are, you know what though?
It's deep.
Stock price up $17 today. Up
Is it?
On nearly 8% today. So that's not hurting if you're a Tesla stock owner. Meanwhile, the NBA world and beyond, remembering a legend today, Milwaukee Bucks great Junior Bridgman passing away Tuesday at the age of 71. He was a huge success on the court, but perhaps even more of a titan off of it. In addition to his playing career, Bridgman was also a scion in business, building a lasting legacy through Wendy's franchises. He was also a major distributor with Coca-Cola, and he owned stakes in Ebony and Jet magazines. Also a minority owner of your Milwaukee Bucks. But it's Bridgman's extensive background in business that paved the way for many modern sports superstars, including Shaquille O'Neal.
A lot of people don't know this, but I've patterned my whole business acumen after Junior Bridgman. But I remember one time the Forbes list came out, and I was like, oh, I know I'm on this list, all the commercials I do, and I saw his name. I reached out to him, and we started talking, and, he had Wendy's, I started Big Chicken, Pepsi and Coke, so everything that he did, I tried to pattern after him. But this one really hit hard for me because he was definitely somebody that I looked up to.
Yeah, certainly a guy who looked at his legacy beyond the basketball court.
Yes, and lastly, I also wanted to share, I just finished an incredible interview with Jim Paschke, you'll hear later on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Retired sportscaster. His first season, he says, as a play-by-play for the Bucks was when Junior Bridgman's last year in the NBA, and he shared his love for him as a player and his admiration for his business sense, and he just talked to him last week here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, just a week ago, we did a program for Fiserv. They had 65 bankers from 34 states in Milwaukee, and Junior and I conducted an interview situation. Was at Discovery World, and he was engaging, and the crowd was in rapt delight for 45 minutes. No one was on their phone. There was complete attention, and that's the kind of magnitude that he had.
So we'll have plenty more on Bridgman's legacy throughout our show. And when his former teammate John McLaughlin and former Bucks broadcaster joins us live at 3:35, Jim Paskey's entire interview is going to be at 5:45, and you can always catch up with us on our podcast as well. Wisconsin's afternoon news continues next, and the story behind cheese brine being used in Greene County to treat the roads when the snow falls. We're talking about this with Brian Wisnansky just last week. The highway commissioner says it's like a soak and maybe a trade secret in the cheese industry. He explains next.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum take effect today.
Eric Billstad.
A teenager from Waukesha County arrested in Kansas has now been booked into the Waukesha County Jail.
And traffic with Debbie Loziga.
South of Paradise Drive. It's kind of a parking lot right through there. It's very, very slow.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Hunters and soldiers use night vision optics that enable them to own the night. Jesus said he is the light of the world, and whoever follows him will never walk in darkness. However, he sometimes keeps that light out of the visible range. We don't see it, but it changes what we see. What does it mean to walk in that light of Christ? Hear Dr. Michael Ziegler's message, Light of the World, this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
When Blaine's Farm and Fleet was founded 70 years ago, selling goods at a discount wasn't the norm. The Blaine brothers helped pioneer a new era in retail, and we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like mobile Delvac 1300 diesel oil as low as $9.99 after mail-in rebate, and Blaine's brand Platinum Automotive batteries $5 off for rewards members. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
3:16 traffic and then weather. Debbie Loziga, how are the roads?
Well, we got northbound 43 backing up right around the North Avenue curve all the way up to Keefe. So a bit of a heavy ride through there. Southbound slows down at Kilbourne all the way down through the Marquette onto the high-rise bridge. Westbound 94, watch for backups from about 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. Eastbound, so far, so good. Knock on wood. Got a nice quiet ride there. Southbound 41 backing up from Hampton down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, mostly clear, low of 32. Tomorrow you get to see the sun, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, partly cloudy, windy. Thunderstorms are possible at night Friday, 70 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, windy with possibility of more showers, a high of 57 degrees. Sunday, breezy, colder. Flurries are even possible Sunday, a high of 39 degrees. Right now, it's 41 degrees and sunny.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Draycamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDraycamp.com.
So, Mike, and maybe Deb, if you're still on the line. Deb is always like doing a million things. Deb, do you remember when we were talking about how Greene County was using cheese brine to treat the roads?
Yeah.
So when snow falls and we have possibility of flurries on Sunday, Greene County uses it. So I was asking him a lot of questions, and including the one thing that that Brian Wisnansky wanted to know, if it smells.
The best I could, it doesn't stink, but it has a, for dairy farmers, if you think about what a milk house kind of smells like, that's kind of the smell that it has. It's not a bad smell.
So I've been in dairy farms, and it tastes like it smells like stale milk pretty much. And here's a little more information about cheese brine. It's basically when the cheese is kind of pickled a little bit, and there's salt in it, and there's a certain percentage they're looking for.
So they make a salt brine and then they soak the cheeses in it. So I don't know how long each of the cheeses after they're made, how long they're soaking in the brine, but each cheese factory has a trade secret on what the salinity of that cheese brine is. So where we get it, we specify that we want it 23% salt. That's how it gets delivered to us. So if we didn't pick it up, this would be considered an industrial waste. We are limited on the amount that, per mile we can use, which we, the way it so no, Grande cheese in Judah is where we get our supply from, and we're now starting to look at other cheese factories, and the thing that got me was it's a trade secret. I'm like, really?
Wow.
So
awesome. That's why I love cheese. I love salt too.
Oh,
excellent.
We here at the Highway Shop, we've got a refrigerator, and the sign on it is cheese fridge.
He's so nice. Deb, would you be in support of treating the roads with cheese in Milwaukee?
If it works. I'd love to see it. I mean, I would like to see like a comparison of that next to the regular standard salt, next to sand, all the different options, like one right next to the other, just to see how well it works.
Otherwise, it would be just thrown away. So now you all know.
And it's better for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So, cost conscious. Plus, isn't it a way like cheese manufacturers, dairy farms could like reinvest a little bit, like instead
make a
of
little
throwing
extra dough.
Yeah, exactly.
You got your thinking cap on, Mike. Okay, so Wisconsin's Afternoon News continues next with a legal analyst who breaks down a case against a Columbia University graduate the Trump administration's trying to deport over his participation in pro-Palestinian protests at the school, and a broader issue over these protests that could affect funding at UW's schools.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes. It is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you'll be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Namaste.
Dan, what are you doing?
Shh, you're harshing my mellow. Join me in some breathing exercises to chase away the chaos.
Let's focus on our clients, since we offer an exceptional way to control the chaos.
Inspired Closets can more than double your closet storage space.
And we don't over-design projects, sending you 3 beautiful designs to fit your price point.
Plus, our true lifetime warranty makes it a no-brainer.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent St. Paul.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
It's a run in our blood. That kind of luck's just ain't for us.
Royal Oaks is amazing, has a great first name, ABC News legal analyst. Royal, do you like this song, Royal by Lorde?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure it's up there with Taylor Swift's Shake It Off, but it's good.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about our favorite songs because King Charles, speaking of more royals, he was giving out his playlist, and John Mercure, his favorite is Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. So that's funny.
How funny.
Okay, but we are talking about something really, really interesting, and I'm glad you're here. So there's a bigger picture that's happening right now about Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate. He is a target of the Trump administration trying to be deported over his participation in a pro-Palestinian protest of the school. Can you lay out what's going on?
Yeah, so he is not a citizen. He has apparently a green card. And of course, that means you have lawful permanent resident status in the U.S. But the fact that he is accused of supporting and organizing demonstrations in favor of Hamas there at Columbia is the argument by the Trump administration for justifying possible deportation. And the idea is because Hamas has been designated an official terrorist organization by the U.S. government, the fact that a person with a green card supports them and takes steps to promote their interests through demonstrations is allegedly a basis for deporting him. Now, there are going to be court hearings, and an immigration judge will get involved. But that's the gist of the Trump argument. The student or the former student's argument is, hey, I'm entitled to free speech rights like anybody else in America, and as a result, I'm going to argue that it's improper to try to kick me out of the country.
Royal, this is obviously just one case here, right? But it is one that could have some implications for decades when it comes to protections for green card holders. My guess is this eventually is going to end up in the U.S. Supreme Court as a decision. But again, like this could fundamentally change, right, kind of how people are given green cards and what protection those green card holders have.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we don't normally associate the issue of terrorism and support for terrorist groups with the whole question of green cards and permanent residency and so on. But yeah, those issues are being linked. And in addition, of course, there are big-time funding issues. The Trump administration is trying to limit federal funding for a lot of different schools. The next steps are that this fellow is going to get charging documents explaining why he was detained, why the government wants to deport him, because they took him from New York down to Louisiana to an immigration detention center. He's going to get a notice to appear in immigration court. And then within 2 or 3 days after his arrest, he'll get these notices, and then he'll have a court appearance in a week to a month. And he filed a federal lawsuit in New York City. So, yeah, it's all teed up for a legal fight.
And Royal, there could be a very local tie for us with UW-Milwaukee and UW-Madison because the Trump administration is saying that the pro-Palestinian protests were illegal protests. And experts are warning it could hurt students and their families with potential higher tuition costs if federal funding is lost. So can you just lay out what could happen?
Yeah, what could happen is just a whole lot of money could be clawed back by the federal government. Talking about the college you mentioned, Johns Hopkins University, the administration terminated $800 million in federal grants to them. University of Maine, $30 million. Several other universities, colleges are involved in this. And basically, Leo Terrell, who was formerly a media personality who's a big supporter of Donald Trump, has just been appointed to one of the deputy district, that is U.S. attorneys in the Department of Justice, a deputy attorney general, actually, and he is spearheading a task force to see what to do about anti-Semitism. And it's interesting, this fellow Mahmoud Khalil, he said, look, I'm exercising my free speech rights, but the federal government says that because he supports Hamas, which he does, he claims he's not anti-Semitic, but he says that, yeah, he supports Hamas. The Trump administration's position is that's like saying, well, I don't really hate Jewish people, but I am a member of Hitler Youth, so that issue has to be sorted out in court.
ABC News legal analyst Royal Oaks. This story is not over. Royal, thank you for being on top of it.
You bet. Thanks.
Time now for some news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag on Wall Street as the markets closed today. The Dow closed down about 82 points at 41,351. The NASDAQ up 212 at 17,648. The S&P 500's up 27 at 55.99. It's Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
According to the Census Bureau, more than 12,000 Americans are turning 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. 65 is traditional retirement age because it matches up with Medicare, but Gallup found 61 is the average retirement age. Some Annex clients retire early, but we also have clients working at 70 because they love what they do. You know why? Because they've got plans built by fee-only fiduciaries, plans custom-tailored to their lifestyle. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work building investment, retirement, tax, and estate plans in their best interest. Proper retirement planning doesn't start the week before you retire. Having a focused plan built by our in-house teams will go a long way in helping you reach the retirement you desire. It all starts with the conversation you probably already have in the back of your mind. It's time to put that into action and contact Annex. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Traffic sponsored by the all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Julia Fallow. Your top story this half hour. A Menendez brothers-inspired murder case moves to trial.
I'm Mike Spalding in for John Mercure, preventing the overheated tariff battle from boiling over.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, northbound on 43, backing up from before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Southbound slowing down from North Avenue down through the Marquette and onto the high-rise. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street to Hawley Road. Southbound 41's got some backups too from just before Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. Eastbound's got some pockets of heavy traffic, basically right past 76th Street, and then again right through the Stadium interchange to 35th. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow you can see the sun, 50 at the lake, 59 inland. Right now it's 40 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old teenager is charged with killing his mother, now bound for trial. Reed Galinsky faces one count of first-degree murder. The court records say he may have been inspired by a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers when he allegedly hit his mother with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. Galinsky's bail's at $1 million, and he'll return to court this summer.
Training for school resource officers continues as the deadline looms to have them put in place at Milwaukee Public Schools. Director of Operations Mac Hardy spoke with our news partners at TMJ4.
We're there to make sure these students' learning environment is safe for them to learn in.
Hardy says the National Association of School Resource Officers is currently working with 38 officers who will complete training one day before Saturday's court-imposed deadline.
Trowbridge School in Milwaukee is set to reopen on Friday. A joint statement from MPS and the City of Health Department reveals lead hazard remediation efforts were successful after multiple rounds of intense cleaning and inspection. Students and staff will be welcomed back March 14th. MPS will work to ensure students and staff only drink from filtered water stations.
Kenosha police identifying a body found in Lake Michigan at Eichelman Park on Sunday. That body identified as 18-year-old Kayla Sobchak of Kenosha. The teen had been missing since December 17th. Police there say that her death is still being investigated.
There's a new way to add your name to the Wisconsin Donor Registry.
You can now do it when you fill out your taxes. You'll notice a box for organ and tissue donation on your return this year. Just check it and boom, you'll be added to the Wisconsin Donor Registry. The move is an effort to boost the number of registered organ donors in Wisconsin and narrow the gap between supply and demand. More than 24,000 Wisconsin taxpayers have already taken advantage of the new effort. Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
In national headlines, the Trump administration slashing jobs at the Department of Education.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says it's all part of President Trump's efforts to change what she called a failing education system.
We have a problem with our education system. Nobody disagrees with that, but a lot of people seem to disagree with actually doing something about it and changing the status quo.
First, 50% of the Education Department workforce is being cut. And then
the president wants to return education back to the states.
Next, says Leavitt, the president hopes to dismantle the department altogether, but that's something only Congress is empowered to do. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
As the tariff whiplash continues, Canadian officials will travel to Washington, D.C. tomorrow.
I'm Chris Mavridis in Toronto. At the stroke of midnight, Canada joins the European Union in adding reciprocal tariffs on another $21 billion worth of U.S. exports, including American steel and aluminum, tools, sporting goods, and U.S.-made computers. Ontario's premier, along with Canada's finance minister, will travel to Washington to meet with the Commerce Secretary in the hopes of toning down the tit-for-tat tariffs.
The meeting is an attempt to lower temperatures in what's become an overheated tariff battle between the U.S. and Canada.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The NFL league year and free agent signing period is now open. Former Packers quarterback, possibly the highest priority free agent, still unsigned. The QB is drawing interest from both the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. If he signs with either, good chance Packers fans will get a chance to boo the former number 12 as both teams appear on the Packers schedule this season. The Brewers off today in Arizona, back on the mound for the spring training tomorrow against the White Sox. First pitch there at 3:05. In college hoops, Marquette Golden Eagles start Big East tournament play Thursday afternoon at 1:30 against Xavier. Meanwhile, the Badgers begin playing the Big Ten tournament tomorrow afternoon as well. Tip-off at 1:30. They'll take on the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota. Your Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:36.
I absolutely love the Chevy Blazer that we bought at Griffin Chevrolet. My wife adores it. It's fantastic. Right now at Griffin Chevrolet, they've got an incredible selection. Right there on the lot, 75 vehicles in stock, ready to be delivered. Fresh selection at Griffin Chevy coming in literally every single day. Check out the hot-selling 2025 Chevy Equinox, available in the sporty active trim or the sharp-looking RS. This is a great vehicle at a great price. Check out the 2025 Chevy Traverse at Griffin Chevrolet, available in the rugged Z71 or the stylish RS trim models. Great used trucks, capable SUVs, budget vehicles. See Griffin Chevy in the Metro Auto Mall. Ask about GM certified models starting at under $20,000. And the tire special at Griffin Chevy. For just $1 over cost, you can get brand new tires with free tire repair and lifetime tire rotation. Cannot be combined with any other tire offers. Must be mounted, balanced, and installed at Griffin Chevrolet. See Service Advisor for details. It's Griffin Chevrolet, right in the Metro Auto Mall.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
3:37 on WTMJ. I hope that you're having a fantastic week. So, all of you who listen at home are so smart. So smart. You actually helped me look even further into a story. I had a lot of questions, and so did you, after reading through court records of a Milwaukee Public Schools staffer charged with child abuse, a paraprofessional at Metcalf School, 62-year-old Jeffrey McLean. We'll get to him in a second. But our question today is more for the principal of the school, Metcalf School on North Avenue in Milwaukee. Here's why. As I was reading through the horrible allegations of abuse laid out in court records, students just 6 and 7 years old telling their parents they didn't want to go to school on the days that This suspect was in class as a teacher's assistant. And here we go. Court records show, quote, a teacher reported to the Metcalf principal that numerous students told her the suspect, Jeffrey McLean, had been punching and choking the children. So I wanted to know a little more about what's happening with the principal, who, according to detectives and the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office, was told by a teacher her students were saying this man was choking and punching her students. There's 3 different instances laid out, starting 3 months ago, so in December. And the last one took place just last week. Prosecutors say they have evidence that includes this MPS employee slapped a 6-year-old across the face on the playground. This is the guy now charged. And another time, he's accused of being so violent with another 6-year-old student, the child was found by the teacher bleeding all over the place. And this man is also accused of threatening a student, saying, "I'll break your blanking jaw." So, pointing out the principal, because on page 2, again, it says that a teacher reported numerous times that these children were being punched and choked. So there is a pattern. Here's more about one that happened just last week, the child bleeding instance that's in the court record. A teacher told detectives she was at lunch while the now suspect was watching her students, and when she returned, a child came up to her and said, "He did it again." Prosecutors say right in Metcalf School, the 62-year-old defendant grabbed a 6-year-old student in the class, forced him in the chair so violently the child had a 3-inch cut on his upper chest and was bleeding. So I reached out to Milwaukee Public Schools about this, and they're about the principal and McLean. They would only comment on McLean, saying that they take all matters seriously on the well-being and advancement of their students. I replied asking about the principal. Is she on administrative leave? You can at least tell me that. Spokesman says we don't comment on open investigations. So obviously, you can read between the lines there. I did email the principal because you can find her email just to see if it bounces back with an away message, but it doesn't. Milwaukee police went to them. They wouldn't comment, but the Department of Public Instruction did. The state tells me that Metcalf principal, her name, Melinda Gladney, her state administrator license is now under investigation for possible revocation by the Department of Public Instruction. They say during the investigation, they have to keep everything confidential. Even when there's a date of a revocation hearing, they can't even reveal that. So I emailed back still asking for the date of when the hearing is. And they said there's not a date yet. The investigation is still ongoing. So I wanted to let you know about this. Mike, because you're a boss of how many employees? 40, 50?
Let's go 50. 45,
okay.
Yeah.
If I came up to you and said someone is punching and choking Brandon and Deb, what would you do?
I would. Is it happening right now?
According to court records, they said that her students are saying that they're being punched and choked. So if I said, hey, Brandon and Deb are being punched and choked by someone else, what would you do?
You got to get an investigation going. Immediately.
Well, no.
HR.
It took until the 3rd time. And apparently, according to court records, the pattern starts in December, and it kept on going until finally last week, the guy said, "I will break your blanking jaw," to a 7-year-old child. So we'll stay on top of this. All of you are so smart. You wanted to know about the principal. So now you know she is under investigation, and the investigation is ongoing. It's 3:42 on WTMJ.
If you missed this,
can you talk about how often officers are ending up at schools and how difficult those situations are?
3,100 calls a school year. It was about 17 calls a day.
Or this.
Handpicking the press pool. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many, as you might imagine. I've been in the press pool covering the White House, the greatest privilege of my repertorial life.
Catch up on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast at WTMJ.com. Presented by Dave Drakamp Heating.
Broadway's smash hit, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, is coming to Milwaukee. The true story of a kid from Brooklyn, destined for something more, featuring all the songs you love, including America, Forever in Blue Jeans, and Sweet Caroline. Like Jersey Boys and Beautiful, the next musical mega hit is here. The Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, March 25th through 30th at the Marcus Center. On sale now at marcuscenter.org.
Things are getting even cheaper at Fleet Farm during Chick Days, March 6th through the 12th. We've got the most popular poultry breeds, all at the best prices guaranteed. Plus, get great deals on other chickening needs, too, like 20% off Little Giant feeders and waterers. 40 pounds of Nature-Wise protein crumble is on sale for $16.99. And Kamek and Tamarack boots for the coop are all 25% off. Eggers, Leghorns, Reds. Now's the best time to get them during Fleet Farm Chick Days.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive professional servers and bartenders. You'll make great cash. Inquire today. Start next week. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazica, how are the roads?
Well, it looks like we got a crash on the on-ramp from Good Hope Road to northbound 41, so watch out for that. Also, the ramp from eastbound Good Hope Road to 41 southbound is closed because that's kind of the same ramp, believe it or not, coming off of Good Hope Road. So you just want to be extra careful through that. Beyond that, those southbound 41s backing up from just before Hampton all the way down past Good Hope Road. We've got southbound 43 slowing from Keefe all the way through the Marquette onto the high-rise. Northbound slowing from Kilbourne up to Keefe. And then westbound 94, watch for backups basically from 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your traffic report is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 32. Tomorrow, you get to see the sun, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, there's a chance of thunderstorms at night. It'll be 70 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, windy with showers possible, a high of 57. Sunday, breezy and colder. Even flurries are possible, a high of 39. Right now, it's 41 degrees in Milwaukee. At 3:46 on WTMJ, we are remembering and honoring Buck star Junior Bridgman. He was at a fundraising event yesterday in Louisville, on camera, according to reports, saying, "I'm sorry, I think I'm having a heart attack." He was rushed to the hospital. He stopped the interview, and unfortunately, he passed away. He did not make it. Junior Bridgman was 71 years old. Bridgman, a Milwaukee Buck, became minority owner of the Bucks, billionaire, did so much for the community, including being part of the MAC Fund, the Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer. John McLaughlin, legendary Bucks player and helped found the MAC Fund, joins us on the Sighting Unlimited Talk and Text line. John, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Joey. Hi, Mark. Good to be with you. Thank you. I wish it was a different reason, frankly.
How are you feeling?
You know, it's interesting. I just a month ago, I lost one of my best friends, Dick Van Arsdale, who was also an NBA player. He and his twin brother lived in Phoenix, and we were roommates at Indiana together and played together there. And now we lose Junior, and it's enough. I very sad about this, and of course, this one we didn't see coming. Of course, Junior was at a fundraiser for, I think, the Boy Scouts. That would be Junior.
Yeah,
and,
at a fundraising event. Mm-hmm.
It hit me pretty hard, quite frankly. I speak to him periodically, and he lived in Louisville, but he was on the Maxx Fund board for a number of years and just went to emeritus status because he could never make a board meeting. And I said, I don't care, Junior, I want you on the board. And he said, yeah, but I can't make the meetings. And that's the kind of stand-up guy that he was. He helped us raise a lot of money for childhood cancer research.
John, us as fans always talk about legacy. Typically, our discussions, though, end with, what'd you do on the court? How many MVPs did you win, right? How many championship rings do you have? But I think in the locker room, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think you guys look at legacy differently. And when I think of Junior Bridgman, I think, yes, legendary Buck, right? But also your impact on the greater community was greater than almost anything you could have. You could have won 9 NBA championships, and it still probably would have been more monumental what he accomplished away from the court. I'm just curious from your end, how do you guys define legacy? How do you guys talk about it when you're in the locker room or maybe on the golf course once you've hung out the sneakers?
Well, first of all, Mike, you positioned that question differently than I've ever heard, and I've heard them all, and I commend you for that. It's a good thought because, more players, like all of us in just life, are just people trying to get the job done, not superstars or even stars, but just people doing their job and trying to make a living and trying to make life better. We don't talk about things like that. I never was part of it anyway. Perhaps some of these guys today do. I don't know. They seem to be a little bit more caught up in themselves than in my era, and that might have to do with the notoriety that they get today and the money. I don't know, but a lot of the players today are wonderful people as well. But, we never sat around a locker room and talked about legacy or notoriety or even championships, at least the one I was on. We didn't discuss it. We just went out and did it. But I think when you take players that aren't the superstars, but Junior was very much an outstanding player for his team as an example, and yet was capable of doing great things later. He's probably the best example of all of sport about going out and becoming successful after sport, but sport helped him get started as it helped us get started with the Maxx Fund as an example, and led into my later life as well in terms of what I did. And my partner and friend Sal Bando, who had been a great baseball player. So I hope I've answered that question.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, a guy like Junior, he was intelligent. He was kind. And I've stated this many times. He's one of the finest, if not the finest person I've ever known. Certainly the finest Milwaukee Buck ever as a person. But he shows you with intellect and hard work what you can do with the platform that God gave him in terms of athletics. And then he went on and built that into other greater things. And he did a lot of wonderful things for charities.
Oh, yeah. Can you talk about, I hear that he was on the board. I'm on 3 different executive boards, so I know how important it is to be at those meetings. But I'd be the same as you. I'd say, I don't care. I don't care if you're here or not, because he was so amazing. What did he do for the Maxx Fund?
Well, it's interesting. Number one, he had been traded here in the Kareem trade. He was part of the 4 players coming here for Kareem going to L.A. So he was on that team, and he was a rookie. So when they had my retirement night, December 10th, in 1976, after I'd played 1 year, my last year on the same team Junior was on as his first year, he was there when we announced the formation of the MAC Fund. So he was aware of the MAC Fund from
the
his
get-go.
early
Wow.
days here. Yeah. And so he was with me all along in terms of if I asked him to come to this, come to that. He did something that not many people will do. Our very first fundraising event we ever had for the MAC Fund was in the summer of '77, and we had a golf outing. And in those days, there were no golf outings. Charities, there weren't as many. They didn't do events like this, but we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we had it at Triple-I, and we had it in May on an off day for the Brewers. Every Brewer player, every Brewer coach, every year for about 5 years would come and play in that outing. And I asked Junior to come to the first one. He had never played golf in his life. And he came and played in a foursome and hit a golf ball for the first time in his life. Years later, he became a good golfer. But most athletes, men probably, to put their ego aside and just fumble around in front of all those people.
No
to play
kidding.
in our event. Doesn't that tell you a lot about Junior right there?
It certainly does. And speaking of the MAC Fund, I just want to say thank you for all you've done. My mother, when she was going through radiation and chemotherapy, there would be little children next to us, and she said, I can take it, but not them. And so the fact that you are going through all of this with blood disorder research and funding clinical trials, experimental treatments, I think and survivor support programs, it's really amazing. And
well, thank you.
What is next with the MAC Fund? Oh, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, TMJ has been a big part of helping us grow over the years. We had telethons, on the TV side, and the radio side's always been a part of it. And Junior sponsored through his Chili's, when he owned all the Chili's, he sponsored our golf outing that we have continued to have since day one, still have it every summer. And Junior's organization sponsored that behind Junior, of course. So he stayed with us all along. And thank you for your comment, Julia. We've given, we're close to $90 million for childhood cancer research. And the best part of that is in these almost 50 years, 49 years of the MAC Fund, more kids are living. That's the main thing. The research has allowed more kids to live, and they're working harder and harder all the time to make all the protocols that the kids have to go through less invasive and less difficult.
No kidding. Oh, my goodness. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. John McLaughlin, a legendary Bucks player, friend of Junior Bridgman, and he helped found the MAC Fund. I appreciate all of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on to promote the MAC Fund, but to talk about a wonderful man. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you missed any of that interview or any of the interviews we've done throughout the first hour of the show, including ABC News correspondent Royal Oakes, you can always check it out on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast. It is sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit davedracamp.com.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Wisconsin State Fair could get an upgrade under Governor Tony Evers' proposed capital budget recommendations. Of the $4.1 billion in statewide investments, nearly $22 million is slated for projects at State Fair Park, like planning and designing new swine, sheep, and goat barns. Kohl's Cash could soon cover a wider selection of products. The Menominee Falls-based retailer said it is evaluating its vast list of brands excluded from the popular promotion, but will likely keep large national brands on its exclusions list. Finally, Pride Fest Milwaukee anticipates a 30% decrease in sponsorships for the 2025 festival as a result of President Donald Trump's executive orders around diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Sponsorships make up 12 to 14% of the festival's total revenue. I'm Drew Dawson from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Pastor Tim Butker here, inviting you to join us each week for Christian Crusaders. The Bible tells the greatest story ever told, one of hope, redemption, and new life. As we journey through a Bible overview and head towards Easter, we remember the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who conquered sin and the grave for us all. Grow in faith with us as we open the all-powerful Word of God. Tune in Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It is 4 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story: on leave for mishandling missing ballots.
I'm Mike Spalding in for John Mercurer. Some not on board with a House-passed funding bill.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and southbound 41, watch for backups now from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Hampton, a little bit more past Capitol Drive as well. Northbound 43 slowing very heavily from about Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Southbound side's going to be slow from North Avenue down through the Marquette. Westbound 94, you'll see delays from 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. On the eastbound side, slowing from 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Right now, it's sunny and 42 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old teen charged with killing his mother is bound for trial. Reed Galinsky faces a felony count of first-degree murder. Court records say he may have been inspired by a murder scene in the Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers, when he allegedly then hit his mother with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. He is now on a $1 million bond and will return to court this summer.
Also in court today, a teenager arrested in Kansas for theft of his stepfather's property. He made his initial court appearance in Waukesha County today. That being 17-year-old Nikita Kassup is in custody on a $250,000 bond. Kassup is charged with stealing his stepfather Donald Mayer's car and handgun. No charges have been filed related to the deaths of Mayer or Kassup's mother Tatiana. Waukesha County Sheriff's Department says that Cassup remains a person of interest in both deaths, and additional charges are forthcoming. A preliminary hearing for the teen set for March 24th.
Madison City Clerk Mary Beth Witzel-Bell is now on administrative leave amid an investigation into 193 ballots that went uncounted in a bag never opened during last year's general election. WEC Chair Ann Jacobs.
The idea that you should print out your poll books 2 weeks before the election in the city of Madison, where you have a population of students who notoriously vote the weekend before, that is a nonsensical decision.
The commission on Friday voted to force Madison City workers to sit for depositions, likely including Witzel-Bell.
Happening right now in Washington, D.C., Senate Democrats say they aren't on board with a House-passed funding bill. The Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats.
A lack of Democratic support does increase the chances of a government shutdown.
In more local news, we're just more than a month away from one of the largest events in our state's history.
The 2025 NFL Draft is expected to bring roughly 250,000 people to Green Bay over the course of 3 days. Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen is ready with a security plan 24 months in the making.
We're very confident we can handle what is coming for us. We're also very familiar with the Titletown district.
If you're making the trip, parking in yards is allowed and encouraged.
It's actually one of the biggest parts of our transportation and parking plan.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
The draft runs from April 24th through the 26th.
Coming up, police responding to an unusual 911 call in Racine County.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:04.
This report is brought to you by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
They did it again. Best of the best in the whole USA. Wisconsin's very own Siding Unlimited. Local and family-owned Siding Unlimited has won their 5th National Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year award. Siding Unlimited has been installing Pella windows and doors for over 30 years and doing it the right way. Top-notch installation by their very own amazing craftsmen. Homeowners rave about their beautiful windows, easy to open and energy-efficient Pellas with an unmatched warranty, and about the excellence of Siding Unlimited's installation experience. Peace of mind, durability, function, daily job cleanup. You need great new windows installed the right way. You need Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now, through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality, and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 4:06.
Oh, this story's crazy. A 4-year-old Wisconsin little boy called 911 to have his mother arrested for an unusual theft.
Hello? This is Racine County 911. My mom is being bad.
The boy said his mom needed to go to jail. What did she do wrong? Well, Mom got on the phone to explain.
I ate his ice cream, so that's probably why he's calling 911.
The 2 responding Mount Pleasant police officers convinced the boy to forgive his mother. The next day, the officers returned to his home with a reward for him, more ice cream. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers off today in spring training, but progress made for starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff. Woodruff made his first start since 2023 in a minor league appearance against the Padres.
17 months and finally getting back out there.
It was an emotional day. I would say early on today, just being around the guys and with the support and everything. I know it's just a minor league game, but it means a lot.
Woodruff faced 5 batters, says he's hopeful to appear in a Cactus League game before spring training wraps up at the end of the month. In college hoops, the Marquette Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play tomorrow afternoon against Xavier. Tip-off theirs at 1:30. The Badgers, same situation there. They begin Big Ten play at 1:30. They'll take on the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota. Your Badgers Sports Update is sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time approaching 4:08.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Connect Chiropractic. I know, it's been a long winter. The shoveling, the hibernating, the being a couch potato. Well, hey, you might not be at your best, but Connect Chiropractic, the teams I trust, can help you get rid of those aches and pains and get it all under control. I go to Connect every Thursday, and I love it. They put me right where I need to be, bringing back my energy. They take care of headaches, back pain, neck pain, neuropathy. They deal with it all, and they do it in a cool way. It's more nuanced. No twisting, cracking, popping. Nuh-uh. Connect Chiropractic, going to take care of you the way they take care of me.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Mike Spalding.
Have no fear, John is back on Monday. Mike Spalding filling in for John. In studio with me is Julia Fellow, as always. Joining us in studio right now is 101.7 The Truth's Tori Lowe. Tori, I wanted to first start here with a piece of audio, and I want to get your reaction to it. What you're about to hear is your colleague, Dr. Ken Harris, on Wisconsin's Morning News with Vince Vitrano and Eric Bilstad today. They asked Ken about his priorities for MPS and his advice for newly hired superintendent, Dr. Brenda Casilius.
I would do a Doge move at MPS. Make everybody reapply. First people I would get rid of are those regional superintendents. And now the superintendent talks directly to the principal.
So you're somebody, Tori, who's very community focused. You're all about the next generation of Milwaukeeans. And superintendent, I'd argue, is probably one of the most influential roles in our city beyond families for raising the next generation of Milwaukeeans. So take it away. Tori Lowe, you're superintendent, day number 1. What are you doing?
I'm coming in like Joe Clark from Lean On Me. I'm coming in with a bullhorn in the back. And the thing is, you got to make sure that when you deal with a situation like MPS, sometimes when it's bad, you got to break things up. You can't keep things you can't keep the same idea going, because that may contribute to the negative outcomes. So what you want to do is you got to rule with an iron fist and try to gut out what's wrong. And many times that doesn't give you praise. You know what I mean? When you're trying to make real change.
It does not.
It doesn't. And so I think that if she comes in and she, like Ken said, she have to regroup, rethink, and reshape. She has to come in with a real plan. And now if she doesn't have a plan, she'll kind of keep things pretty much the same. Then she becomes a manager at that point of some of the same issues that we've been facing. But I'm looking forward to seeing if she really has a real idea of really how to handle one of the worst test scores. MPS has some of the worst test scores in the country. And 8th grade, I saw a statistic where 0.2% of the 8th graders are proficient in math. So
yes, my friend is a teacher's assistant and was saying that some of the 6th graders were having difficulty reading full books.
Right.
What the heck is going on?
And that's what I'm saying. So she would have to come in and just tear down the current ideas. Yeah. And if she does that, she may have a chance in the long run, at having success. But like I said, if she continues to keep the same people in the same place doing some of the same things, she may just be managing a problem that could never be resolved.
Okay, so school districts, though, there are so many stakeholders. Not only do you have teachers union, you have the school board, you have parents,
right?
You have students, all those people you have to keep in mind. So if you come in, and I think that's what the district also needs, is someone to come in and hit a few things with the bat, shake things up. But you're doing that. You're here for a good time, but you're not going to be here for a long time. Right. Is it possible to come in and swing that big stick and change things up right away? Like, logistically, is it possible to do?
It depends on if you have a plan. You know, that's why I say you got to have a strategic plan. She's an educator. She's been in the game. She was in Boston. She's been a part of big school systems before. She's worked with Governor Evers. So, like I said, does she have the plan to actually swing that stick? It's not about just swinging the stick. You got to have skill and a strategic plan of operation. And that's what I'm hoping to see.
And does she have the stamina?
Right.
Because behind the scenes, if you look at the MPS Communications office, it's now like about $119,000 a year. Every other year or every 9 months, there's a new opening because the person's so burned out from every bad thing happening left and right.
And for people like me, bringing it to the forefront.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, you don't make it easy on them.
No, I don't. But the thing is, it can be done. And, I think that most children, they want a good education. Most families want their child to be well educated. So we got that in common. But how we go about it, do we have the proper people in place? Are people there to really make the real changes that's needed? I hope so.
I'll leave it with this. How many months do we give her before we start really giving? Like, how much time should we give her?
Well, you got $400,000 salary. Let's give her a year.
A year, okay.
You got to give her a year because sometimes if she's not coming in wielding the stick, then I may go 6 months because then there is no real plan of action. So now you're just managing NPS and what it already is. So let's see what she does.
He's Tori Lowe. Watch a Tori Lowe show on 101.7 The Truth from 1 to 4. Tori, thank you so much.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
It's 4:14 on WTMJ.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to...
Fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone!
Spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
Back again and gone again for Hoskins.
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the Giants Friday at 3. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Celebrity or Holland America, or design your own bucket list adventure with Globus. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield makes vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
4:16, traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
A little bit slow on westbound 94 specifically from 16th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side slowing down just east of 76th Street all the way through to about 27th Street. Southbound 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette onto the high-rise bridge. And then on the northbound side slowing down out of the Marquette up towards Keefe. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny. 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, there's a chance of thunderstorms at night. 70 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, mostly cloudy, windy with showers, a high of 57. Sunday, a few flurries are possible. Yes, a high of 39. Right now, it's 42 degrees in Milwaukee.
Welcome back to Wisconsin's Afternoon News. I'm Mike Spalding. He's sitting in for John Mercure. John will be back on Monday. We do have a very special guest in studio with us right now in What's on Tap host Sandy Maxx. Before we get to you, Sandy, real quick point of order.
Yes.
Update on Milwaukee Public Schools. A couple of schools closed last month due to high levels of lead. The district and health department now giving the all clear to MPS to reopen Trowbridge School once it completes its cleaning and inspection for high levels of lead. So we'll have more on that story throughout Wisconsin's Afternoon News. WTMJ's Sean Brinda joins us live at 5:08. He's actually at a lead testing facility today as the district and health department kind of roll out this plan to get kids tested if they were in one of these since shuttered schools. But Trowbridge School given the all clear to reopen once it passes its inspection. So we'll have plenty more on that throughout the afternoon. But first, joining us in studios, WTMJ's Sandy Maxx. Sandy, hi.
How are you?
Great.
Jawohl, guten Tag.
We're talking about another building that was built before 1978. Not filled with lead, though, filled with some great food.
No, that's just of these historic buildings. Kegel's Inn.
Yes, Kegel's.
Probably driven by it many times in West Dallas on National Avenue. Probably partially because it's been there since 1924. To have any business that's been still going for over 100 years now, yay.
And that's
a reason to celebrate.
In an ever-evolving industry that is the restaurant business, it's hard to stick around for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, they usually give them 3.
Yeah. But what makes Kegel's so special?
It is a family-owned, 4th generation now is what we're up to. And Julian Kegel will be my guest tonight at 6:15 on What's on Tap because I want to dig even deeper into this. But it was an Austrian immigrant named John Kegel who came over with his Slovenian-born wife, Anna, and they opened up basically a speakeasy at that time. And they called it a soda pop parlor. So now you could walk in and order a beer right when you walk in. Then you walked in and couldn't order it just right there. But so you talk about opening a restaurant, being able to keep it open. You were kind of opening under these furtive circumstances, but still it's that resilience. It's that spunky, like, haha, we're going to break the rules and we're going to be successful.
Yeah. When was Prohibition?
Right in that area of the 20s there. And,
so, yeah.
Yeah. And in 1927, Women's History Month, celebrating and particularly noting bold women, Anna herself was arrested in 1927 for possessing intoxicated liquor, which was it was like, all right, you go. Like they were really committed to opening this business in the 20s and then passed it down to the next generation and the next generation. And so here we are, 4th generation and truly preserving German
history,
culture and history. There are murals inside.
Oh, scribes.
Painted in 1933 that kind of make you feel like Hofbrauhaus in Munich, like it's that real beer hall vibe. And the cuisine, your Sauerbraten, your Schnitzel. Like there aren't that many places, even with our rich German history in Milwaukee, that are serving up German food.
In my head, I think of cuisines, and there's been like advancements. You had like the gastropub stuff. You had the fancy bar food. You have French cooking. German doesn't come up a lot. Like I don't want to say it's stuck like what it's always been, but there's just not a lot of innovation there.
There aren't people looking to mix it. Like you hear like Mexican Asian fusion. Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot of German fusion, but is it that European like stalwart type of, like we're getting ready to have St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be a lot of soda bread and corned beef and potatoes, like these really.
There was like a brat in a ramen at this one place.
See, now we're talking.
See, that's what I said. That's Midwest, and but it's creative. But this is just much more traditional and authentic. And there, you've still got Mater's, which is very traditional downtown. But I'm thinking of like two others that aren't around. Carl Rocha's has been gone for decades and has left a hole. And then there was a restaurant, was near a cemetery. I'm not sure where it was, but my boyfriend and I took my dad there because they had great schnitzel, but it was called like Bavarian Wurst House. And you walked in and it was all wooden like a chalet. And there was a person who would play accordion up in like a pulpit. So it was really these authentic vibes and preserving the history. We just don't have as many of them. So all the more reason to check out Kegel's Inn and visit history if you haven't been in there. But if you have, it's really good. And they've got a cozy heated beer garden.
Oh,
not
fun.
a German restaurant if you don't have a beer garden.
Yeah, they closed that little road down, right? Like right next to the restaurant.
They call it Bootlegger Alley. Again, nodding back to the speakeasy. And tomorrow they're having European Import Beer Night. You could sample 30 different European beers. All in one spot. I know. And you can taste some of the...
Wait, tomorrow? Not Friday?
Nope, tomorrow.
Oh.
You got to... Julia has plans, but if you don't have plans, tomorrow from 6 till 9 at Kegel's, 30 European beers, German lagers, Czech pilsners, and of course with St. Pat's coming up, we got some Irish Reds to sample. They have live music, but I just think it's again that very, if you ever see pictures of Oktoberfest, it's people sitting together at long tables. Like it's this very communal experience to be sampling some European beers.
Sandy, we have a minute left. Let's talk about your trip.
So all the more reason to sample
experience.
Sample those beers and then come with me because it's great to taste an imported European beer, but why not go where it is made? I am super psyched. It is a European brewery tour that we have specially curated in Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. And you can email me, sandy@WTMJ.com. I'll send you the brochure, which is also posted on WTMJ.com. We're going to visit Munich and go to Hofbrauhaus. We're going to visit one of the oldest breweries ever, Stiegel Brewery in Austria. So we'll be in Salzburg and Vienna. And we're going to go to Prague and drink Budweiser Budvar. Not that Budweiser. We're going to drink the real European Budweiser. So if you want more info, you can... email me, sandy@WTMJ.com, or you can text the word trip to the Sighting Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text sign.
Okay, so text trip to 855-616-1620 to our Sighting Unlimited Talk and Text line. Trip.
Come
Sandy
travel.
is so fun. So,
and I'm even more fun when we're sipping and tasting beer.
Who isn't?
Who are you taking with you?
So far, we got a couple of Beatles buddies who went with me to the Beatles and Beyond trip to England.
Is boyfriend coming?
The man of the... my boyfriend is a West Dallas born and bred fella who hasn't met a beer he doesn't like. So he wants to sample the authentic Bavarian beers for sure. So come raise a stein with me. WTMJ.com and come on the European Brewery Tour.
All right, text trip. It is 4:24 on WTMJ. Time for News About Your Money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag. The Dow was down 82 on the day, S&P 500 up 27, and NASDAQ up more than 1%, up 212. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks. Take a look outside and imagine the yard of your dreams. What do you see out there? Thriving plant life, immaculately edged beds, beautiful, healthy blooms. I got this at my place. It's thanks to Landworks. Take the guesswork out of your green space with landscape services from a good local company, Landworks. Their personalized landscaping plans are carefully designed to make your property shine throughout the season. Plan it now. Now's the time to contact Landworks today, the teams I trust in my yard. Landworks, Wisconsin.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. If you save for retirement in a 401k or IRA, let me ask you, do you know how much of that money is actually yours? Or will taxes take a bigger bite than you expected? Right now, taxes are historically low, but with growing national debt and government spending, do you think they'll really stay that way? Many retirees are shocked to realize the IRS might be one of the biggest expenses in retirement. Here's the good news. You do have options. Smart tax strategies can help you keep more of your hard-earned money instead of handing it over to Uncle Sam. At Drake & Associates, we help our clients create tax-efficient retirement income plans so they can enjoy their wealth instead of worrying about it running out. And here's the catch. These strategies work best when you plan ahead. That's why I'm offering you a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you understand how taxes could impact your retirement and what you can do about it. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 right now to claim your free copy while supplies last. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Take control of your retirement today. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping you keep more of what you've earned.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
I'm John Mercure. Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. About 15% of adults in the U.S. report problems hearing in one or both ears, and it can range from mild to severe hearing loss. If you have hearing loss, even if it's mild, it can impact your quality of life and ability to work or socialize. Here to tell us more is Jamie Jensen, an audiologist specializing in hearing loss with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are the signs of hearing loss?
For people who have some hearing loss, they may start noticing that they're having a hard time following conversations, particularly if there are two or more people talking or if there's background noise present in the environment. They may find that they're asking others to repeat more often or turning up the volume on the TV, often louder than is comfortable for other people in the room.
Are there more advanced treatments for hearing loss?
There are. For some people, typically when there's an issue in their middle ear, a surgery can be an option for treating their hearing loss. For people who have certain types of hearing loss that we call a conductive or a mixed hearing loss, a bone conduction implant may be a good option. This involves a surgery that allows sound to be transmitted to the inner ear of hearing, or the cochlea, by vibrating the bones in the skull. And then for people who have a more significant hearing loss and aren't getting enough benefit from their hearing aids, a cochlear implant is the best option. A cochlear implant involves a surgery as well as an external piece that looks similar to a hearing aid. The cochlear implant allows us to bypass the natural hearing system that isn't working appropriately anymore and to stimulate the hearing nerve directly.
Why should people with hearing loss seek treatment through the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network?
We have an experienced team of audiologists, ENT physicians, and neuro-otologists who will thoroughly evaluate your hearing. Based on the type and degree of hearing loss, whether it be mild, moderate, or severe, we will recommend a hearing treatment option that will best fit your hearing needs and will help you to meet your personal goals.
She's Jamie Jensen. Jamie, thank you for being with us today. To find a doctor who's right for you, visit freightert.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It is 4:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story set to reopen after detecting high levels of lead.
Ramping up preps in Green Bay.
And we've got an accident eastbound 94 right about at 70th Street. It is off on the right shoulder. So watch out for that. Going to see a little bit of a delay heading through that area. The westbound side's backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Northbound 43 slow from the Marquette up to Keith. Southbound slowing down from North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette onto the high-rise bridge. Northbound 41 slowing from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up to Burleigh. The southbound side slow from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 50 at the lake, 59 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old Racine County teen who has been charged with killing his mother, bound for trial. Reed Galinsky. He faces a felony count of first-degree murder. According to court records, he may have been inspired by a murder scene in a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers. Then he's accused of hitting his mother over the head with a dumbbell and then repeatedly stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. He's on bail right now. It's set at $1 million, and he'll return to court this summer.
In Racine County, a 17-year-old girl has died after a reckless driving crash.
Tariana Scales was driving a car with 4 friends in it when they were hit near 16th and Taylor over the weekend. Scales died Tuesday. At least one of the teenage passengers also remains in the hospital today, that according to the Racine Journal-Times. The driver of the vehicle that hit them was clocked at 90 miles per hour just moments before the crash. That driver, Salvador Coronado, remains in the hospital as well. He spent some time behind bars in the past for fleeing an officer. Charges have yet to be filed in this case. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Trowbridge School in Milwaukee will reopen on Friday. A joint statement from MPS and the City Health Department reveals lead hazard remediation efforts were successful after multiple rounds of cleaning and inspection. MPS will work to ensure students and staff only drink from filtered water stations. Also coming up in the next hour at 5:08, our Sean Brinda is at a testing site, and he will be giving us a report then.
School resource officer training continues for 38 Milwaukee police officers. This ahead of a court-ordered deadline Saturday to get officers back in Milwaukee public schools. Director of Operations for the National Association of School Resource Officers, Mac Hardy, spoke with our news partners at TMJ4.
Dealing with the adolescent brain development, to understand where the brain development is on these kids, working with students with disabilities, understanding traumatized kids, and understanding kids while they're in stress.
Officers must complete 40 hours of training and also must pass an examination with a score of 70% or higher.
Workers are busy expanding Appleton International Airport's main concourse before thousands of football fans arrive for the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay. NBC 26 Noah Cornelius.
The airport says 3 new gates will be opened before the draft comes to town. Outagamie County Executive Tom Nelson says the additional traffic is crucial to the airport's growth.
That supports 3,000 jobs in our community and generates about $700 million worth of economic activity.
Airport Director Abe Weber says the expansion also goes beyond the draft.
Our last big concourse expansion happened in 2000. I guess I'd love to say in another 20 years we'll be doing this again.
A full terminal expansion could be finished by early next year.
Welcoming in 250,000 friends could prove to be a boon for business in Green Bay and also for security.
If we're at where our projections are now with that 250,000, that's like a game day over the 3 days.
Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen's security plan is 2 years in the making. Fans making the trip should expect a game day-like routine for entry.
It's the metal detector screening of all guests that come in, clear bag policies, not being able to bring certain items into the footprint. All of those pieces that we do for game days will be very similar to how we do this for this event.
And yes, parking in lawns is encouraged. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
If you want to attend that free event, you must register using the NFL One Pass app or NFL.com.
Ahead of a possible government shutdown, Senate Democrats say there are not enough votes to advance the short-term funding bill that passed the House yesterday.
Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says because of that,
Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR.
He says Democrats are united behind a 30-day bill
that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The NFL's league year has officially begun, as has its free agent signing period. Aaron Rodgers, one of the most high-profile free agents, still without a team, though the former Packers quarterback is reportedly drawing interest from the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. Notably, both teams are on the Packers' schedule this upcoming season. In Arizona, no game for the Brewers today. The Crew back in action tomorrow against the White Sox. And in college hoops, the Marquette Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play tomorrow afternoon against Xavier. Tip-off theirs at 1:30. The Wisconsin Badgers also begin Big Ten tournament play tomorrow afternoon. At 1:30, they'll take on the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota. Your Badgers sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:36.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, John Mercure here. I love Otto's Wine and Spirits. It makes me smile. Serve in Milwaukee since 1945. It's where I buy my wine. It's where I buy my beer. It's where I buy my spirits. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits, employee-owned, friendly staff, 7 locations. They know what they're doing. They've got the best prices at Otto's. They've got the best selection. Open 7 days a week with several locations. Milwaukee, Menominee Falls, which is where I go. Elm Grove, Brown Deer, Cedarburg. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. They are the real deal. Buy it at Otto's.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
4:38 on WTMJ. We are remembering a Bucks icon, Junior Bridgman, who was at a fundraising event in Louisville just yesterday and told a news station, "I'm sorry, I think I'm having a heart attack," and had to stop an interview, was rushed to the hospital, and he did not make it. Junior Bridgman was 71 years old. Bridgman, a Milwaukee Buck, and became a minority owner of the Bucks, a billionaire, did so much for our community. I wanted you to hear Doc Rivers, who just spoke yesterday after the game. He just was so poignant, and here he is. Take a listen.
Losing Junior. I've known Junior for probably one of my 60. I've known him since I was in college. You know, he was one of the guys, him and Quentin Buckner, that would call me at Marquette to get me to go play with the Bucks, of all places. And, you know, when you think about Junior's life, you know, I keep thinking about, like, LeBron and Magic and how influential they are to our league. And they are, and what they've done off the court is amazing. But the role model we should have is Junior Bridgman. When you think about it, here's a guy that I think the most he made was, $300,000 in his career. And he's an owner, you know. So think about that kid growing up, wanting to be an NBA player was probably his dream, and he turned that dream into being an NBA owner. And if that's not what every kid should aspire to do, I was even reflecting on my career, you know, as a coach, and, you know, I've won titles, I've topped, and all that stuff, and you should really want to be like Junior. I mean, when you think about it, he is the exact model that the league should use every day when they're talking to our young players. So, tough day, just really a tough day. You know, in a day like this, I just reflect on me a lot, too. I'm really blessed. Like, there's a lot of benefits for me coming back to Milwaukee that I didn't, like, anticipate. I had no idea that the Junior was going to get back into the Bucks and be an owner. And then we restart a relationship. We stayed in contact still throughout the years. You know, he flew me down to go to the Kentucky Derby with him. So we had a relationship, but I didn't talk to him a lot. And then all of a sudden he's back in. And, you know, when you tell people, you know, people say seize the day and all this stuff, I'm really like, you know, the last conversation I had with Junior was about using him to mentor the young players and trying to figure out a way of doing that. And we never got to it, you know, because you thought there were time. So, yeah, that's the second side of Junior was the first side, though. Like, when he was an NBA player, if you'd have just met him on the street, you wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have told you. And he didn't act like it. When he became a billionaire, you wouldn't have known. and he would not have told you, and he didn't act like it. You know, the word gentleman is like gentleman. That is as good as you can get with Junior.
So funny that he says that, because I also spoke to Jim Paschke. He's a retired sportscaster and TV voice for the Bucks. He said the same thing. He's a gentle man. Also, he was telling me, it's coming up at 5:45, his full interview, but he was saying, how did he get into the bottling industry with Coca-Cola? Well, he had all these Chili's and all these Wendy's. So he had a great contact with Coca-Cola. And in a meeting, he tells the story just last week at Discovery World in front of a whole bunch of bankers from more than 30 different states that came. And he was telling the story, and the crowd was captivated. Coca-Cola said, raise your hand if you're second generation, third generation. It went to fifth generation, people raising their hands. And that's when Junior Bridgman said, I want to have that for a lasting legacy with my family. And he's done so much more. It's 4:42 on WTMJ. Much more after this.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum take effect today.
Eric Bilstad.
A teenager from Waukesha County arrested in Kansas has now been booked into the Waukesha County Jail.
And traffic with Debbie Loziga.
South of Paradise Drive. It's kind of a parking lot right through there. It's very, very slow.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for my friends at Dave Camp Heating. When you experience temperatures 10 degrees below zero, more than 15 inches of snow, rain showers, and sunny days in the low 40s, all in a 3-week period, it can only mean one thing. You live in Wisconsin, and that prepared you to be ready for anything. Because here in Wisconsin, anything can happen with our weather. But fear not. For over 42 years, Dave Camp Heating has lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, or winter, even when they all seem to happen at once, whenever you're experiencing a home comfort dilemma, just call the teams I trust at Dave Camp Heating. From free estimates for new equipment, routine maintenance to ensure your system is ready for anything, or because you simply have a question about your home comfort, call 262-367-2820. 262-367-2820. Dave Camp Heating, because your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakeCamp.com.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
When Blaine's Farm and Fleet was founded 70 years ago, selling goods at a discount wasn't the norm. The Blaine brothers helped pioneer a new era in retail, and we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like assorted Steelworks welding stock, 10% off, and 200-pound AgroMaster protein tubs are on sale, only $64.99. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Loziga, how are the roads?
Well, we do have a crash on 94 eastbound right about at 70th Street. It is off on the right shoulder, something to keep in mind if you're going to be heading through that area. We have a little bit of a backup heading right past it. The westbound side's backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Northbound 41 really kind of backing up right now from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound on 41 backing up from just south of Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive. And northbound 43 pretty much solid out of the Marquette all the way up to Keefe. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. You could see the sun, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, partly cloudy, windy, thunderstorms at night, 70 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, there's a chance of showers and wind, high of 57. Sunday, there might be a chance of a few flurries. It'll be breezy and colder, a high of 39. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees.
Presented by Horicon Bank, it's time for the Milwaukee Economy Briefing, where we dive into the latest trends and insights shaping our city's business landscape. To help explain the trends and the news is MMAC President Dale Koinga on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
The Milwaukee Economy Briefing is sponsored by Horicon Bank, the natural choice. Visit horiconbank.com. So glad that you're with us.
Glad to be here.
So glad. Dale Koinga, did you realize that you would eventually have, represent, thousands of Milwaukee businesses and your name has coin in it?
I never thought of that till now. But ka-ching. Where's that sound effect?
Cha-ching.
Ka-ching.
It's Mr. Brandon.
There he is. Good job, soldier.
Speaking of cha-ching, let's talk about this local startup, Rake, to launch a revolutionary AI tool.
There's so much coolness in the city. It's right under your nose if you know it. And if you're walking through iconic, beautiful downtown Delafield, in one of those offices, there's a $33 million capitalized company that is called Rake. And they are in the artificial intelligence space that looks at imagery and photos and recognizes patterns. So this company regained international attention. And if you want to read more about this, please check out the Milwaukee Startup News. That's the MMAC news portal that we do stories like this on. And there was a Chinese spy balloon that flew over America.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the technology wasn't readily available to figure out where this balloon was going because... And I spent a lot of time in my military intelligence career looking at satellite imagery. It's really hard. It takes a lot of time. But their software is able to identify the characteristics of this Chinese spy balloon, and then they were actually used by the military to help track the trajectory of the spy balloon, ultimately taking it down.
Interesting. Did it also use weather tracking or anything like that because it was going with the wind? Or
no, they have all these satellite imageries, and so it's just able to capture. Here's the pattern. I don't know if they use weather. That's AI. It's beyond my intelligence. It's beyond me. But I was there and hung out with the team. It's led by Corey Jelskowski. He's an MIT brilliant man, brilliant team. And they said, "What do you want to look at?" I said, "Let's look at how many swimming pools there are in the Milwaukee region."
Ooh.
Yeah, swimming pools. Okay, let's do swimming pools. So then they would put their thing around their box around the swimming pool. Okay, that's a swimming pool. And then the software.
Would they give 10 images of a swimming pool so they could get an idea of it?
Well, the way the software works, it comes back and it says, are these all swimming? Is there anywhere in this? Here's a picture of 150 swimming pools. Is there anything in here that is not a swimming pool? And you'd be like, oh, no, that's a fountain or that's a tarp in someone's yard. So you unclick that. And it learns okay, those two things are not what he's looking for. But it actually had in-ground pools and above-ground pools. Mm-hmm. And then it's yep, that's what I'm looking for. And then what it would do is sweep the whole area and say, okay, here's all the houses with swimming pools. So you can imagine business where that'd be very helpful because if you're in the swimming pool cleaning business,
mm-hmm.
you're spending a lot of money on marketing, targeting houses you don't know if they have a swimming pool or not. And where else do you get there's no database of swimming pools. So that's a great example of where technology and artificial intelligence can help you. I wasn't even going that direction. I just randomly let's try.
What's the most popular color car in Wisconsin or something?
Yes,
that's
kind
so
of stuff.
Wild.
It is wild, and so it was a great visit with them. They're an MMAC member. It was a great visit with them to see what they're doing, why they're doing, and just the implications that AI can have in
infinite
making things more effective and efficient.
Well,
right here in Wisconsin.
It's such a Wisconsin startup, too. I remember doing stories, probably a decade ago about Wisconsin lagging behind, Milwaukee lagging behind when it comes to startups and AI and tech and things like that. It's very cool to hear of a local company that's developing that also got a little bit world famous, too. But just the application of it, that you can use it as sort of as an industrious app. When I think of tech, I think of dating apps and things like that. Not at all. This is something that you and I, anyone, can really be able to use when I think of construction and things like that. It's just a very Wisconsin tech company.
Yeah. there's all sorts of Wisconsin's on the leading front right now of AI. And I know MSOE just had an $80 million building. They're going to focus on a $120 million campaign to focus on AI.
Yes, let's talk about that.
WCTC is doing work on AI. We have Microsoft to our south. We have other companies in the space looking at northern part of the city. So we just have a lot of momentum on AI, and it is good news that this new industry has a strong presence in
So you think
Milwaukee.
that the investment in the Milwaukee School of Engineering building, $76.5 million, is well worth it?
Absolutely. What's really interesting about this is that a lot of other AI programs being created by universities are compartmentalizing the AI into a course or study. What's really interesting about the MSOE effort is it's incorporating AI across the whole school into all their studies. And that's really interesting I've always said this, I think MSOE is the most underrated hidden gem in the state. I mean, they really produce a high quality of engineer, and it's just a gem.
That's a really good way to put it, because I think about science and AI, but also like sports or different things like that, or mathematics, like so many different things. So in whatever specialty or major someone's going into is going to incorporate AI, you're saying?
Yes. And that's where I think it's mostly useful is AI is not a study that should be off to the side as it's a separate thing. It's a technology and a functionality that should be incorporated in almost every position to get more out of your time and your resources and your creativity. So it's really interesting how they're doing it. They have some graduates that have done very well. Also, obviously, Robert Kern, talk about Generac, Fortune, they're supporting it, among others. So good for MSOE. They're just a great institution doing great work.
We have like 90 seconds left, so let's talk about our state gaining population.
This is great because we've been very concerned about our state losing population, but 2023, things have reversed. In 2023, we had the 15th biggest net gain among all states in the entire country, and the second most in the Midwest. The only one that beat us was Indiana. And Indiana, we're gunning for you. We're going to take you out. I know the Chamber of Commerce president there in Indianapolis. Just met him, and I'm like, we're gunning for you. We're going to be number one.
A lot of people are leaving Florida in droves, and California.
Hey, what's really exciting here is from an economic development standpoint, the folks that you want are the millennials and the Generation Z because they're working and they have the most to add from a workforce development standpoint. And in the millennial generation, and we are number 10 in the nation and 11th for Z. So we are a cool place to be. People want to be here. They want to listen to WTMJ. They want to eat street with food at Omar, 3rd Street Market Hall, go to Brewers game, Bucks games, and then start businesses and join the MMAC.
How old are your kids?
Grant, my 6'7" son, is 16, soon to be 17.
So does he want to stay in state for school? Just think about the next generation,
he kind of hinted that not for school, but he said the other day that he would like to be back here. And I was like,
good.
yes,
See,
yes.
that's a sign.
Super proud of him. Super proud of Taylor. Taylor's a freshman at Brookfield East. And then I have Quinn and Ada, who are 7th and 5th grade.
Awesome. Are they as tall as him?
All my kids are tall. Not Grant is 6'7".
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is so weird for me because all day I go through my day and I literally, not figuratively, look down on people. And actually go home and then look your son eye to eye about doing his homework is a very weird experience for me.
Dale Koinga, he is the president and CEO of the MMAC. Thank you so much. Milwaukee Economy Briefing is sponsored by Horicon Bank, the natural choice. Visit horiconbank.com.
Tell us a little bit about Innovative Signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Wisconsin State Fair could get an upgrade under Governor Tony Evers' proposed capital budget recommendations. Of the $4.1 billion in statewide investments, Nearly $22 million is slated for projects at State Fair Park, like planning and designing new swine, sheep, and goat barns. Kohl's Cash could soon cover a wider selection of products. The Menominee Falls-based retailer said it is evaluating its vast list of brands excluded from their popular promotion, but will likely keep large national brands on its exclusions list. Finally, Pride Fest Milwaukee anticipates a 30% decrease in sponsorships for the 2025 festival as a result of President Donald Trump's executive orders around diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Sponsorships make up 12 to 14% of the festival's total revenue. I'm Drew Dawson from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the best in the business, and Guthrie and Fry will get it to you. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice, and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
We have an exciting giveaway this week on Spanning the State.
One fan will win 2 front row tickets to see the Beach Boys coming to the Riverside Theater Friday, May 23rd.
Tune in to Spanning the State this Friday.
With timeless songs that shaped music history, they continue to inspire generations.
Experience the music, the magic, the good vibrations. The Beach Boys are still making waves.
Win 2 front row tickets to the Beach Boys coming to Riverside Theater May 23rd. Tune in to Spanning the State this Friday.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano. John Mercure here. Wait, does that car say Pella on the side? What's Gina Della doing here?
Sorry, I'm late.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Recognize my voice? Get used to it.
Talk all things Windows, business, and being a boss in more ways than one with Gina Della from Pella's very own show right here on WTMJ. Starting February 1st, tune into What's the Difference every Saturday morning at 6:30 or stream anytime on WTMJ.com.
What a tease.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top-quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 5 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Wednesday, March 12th. Your top story, a Menendez-inspired killing goes to trial.
I'm Mike Spalding, sitting in for John Mercure. Instability in the U.S. Senate.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Northbound on 41. Looks like we got some trouble. We have an accident right about at Burleigh off on the left shoulder. That's one of the reasons why we got the backups all the way back to the zoo. Give yourself tons of extra time there. Southbound on 41 also slowing from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Eastbound 94, they're still working on this other accident at 70th Street off on the right shoulder. You'll find delays right past that point all the way through the Stadium interchange. The westbound side is also going to be a bit slow from 20th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Right now, it's 42 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old teen charged with killing his mother bound for trial. Reed Galinsky faces a count of first-degree murder. According to court records, he may have been inspired by watching a murder scene in a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers, when he's accused of hitting his mother over the head with a dumbbell and then stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. Galinsky's bail's at $1 million. He'll return to court this summer.
Charges now filed against the mother of a 13-year-old girl who went missing in Oak Creek for nearly a week. 37-year-old Louisa Asala of Burlington is now in police custody on a felony charge of interfering with child custody. Her daughter Lillian was found safe on Friday. Bond for Asala has been set at $20,000. She's due back in court on March 20th.
The chances of a government shutdown at the end of this week is ramping up. Now, Democrats in the Senate have come out against the House-passed measure that would avoid one. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The top Senate Democrats as Republicans have eschewed bipartisanship and don't have the votes on their own to push the House-passed spending bill through a Democratic-led filibuster. Chuck Schumer says the Senate should instead consider a clean one-month extension of government funding through April 11th.
We should vote on that.
But even if Republicans in the Senate were interested, the House is on recess, not due back until a week from Monday. A Senate stalemate could lead to a Friday night shutdown. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
A federal judge in New York is now allowing an activist who led pro-Palestinian demonstrations at Columbia University to remain in detention in Louisiana. ICE agents took Mahmoud Khalil into custody over the weekend for removal from the U.S. However, a judge now blocking his deportation.
On Wednesday, a judge ordered that Khalil's lawyers be given attorney-client privileged calls with their client as they continue to build their case.
We and he fully intend to vindicate not just his First Amendment rights, but those of all Americans, frankly.
They argue their client should be moved closer to his New York home and be reunited with his wife, an American citizen who is expected to give birth next month. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Power lines do not mix well with severe weather or balloons.
We Energies is reminding customers to think twice before releasing balloons outdoors. A single Mylar balloon caused power outages for about 2,400 East Side residents Tuesday night. Customers near Prospect and Brady Street were without power for at least 90 minutes. The metallic coating on Mylar or foil balloons conducts electricity, and that means it can short-circuit power lines and even drop the lines to the ground. Balloons caused a total of 8,000 outages for We Energies customers last year. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
We're now just a month out from one of the largest events in state history.
The 2025 NFL Draft is expected to bring roughly 250,000 people to Green Bay over the course of 3 days. Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen is ready with a security plan 24 months in the making.
We're very confident we can handle what is coming for us. We're also very familiar with the Titletown District.
If you're making the trip, parking in yards is allowed and encouraged.
It's actually one of the biggest parts of our transportation and parking plan.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Coming up, a tearful reunion months after the LA fires.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 5:04.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
For WTMJ contest rules, visit WTMJ.com/contests.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 5:05.
2 months after the Los Angeles area wildfires, an elderly woman has been reunited with her cat. CBS News correspondent Michael Wallace.
She is a sweetheart. I've been sitting with her all day.
The tearful reunion video has gone viral.
Catherine Kiefer feared 5-year-old Aggie had died when their home burned down in the Palisades fire. Over the weekend, the West Los Angeles Animal Shelter called Kiefer to tell her they had Aggie, who was badly burned and starving and has already undergone several blood transfusions. A GoFundMe to cover Aggie's vet bills has raised more than $20,000.
Hi, Aggie. Hi, sweetie.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The NFL league year is now underway, as is the free agent signing period. Former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers still searching for his new home. He's one of the most high-profile free agents still left on the open market. NFL.com reporting that he is interested, or the teams from Pittsburgh and New York, the Giants, both interested in Rodgers. Both of those teams appear on the Packers' schedule this season. In college hoops, the Marquette Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play tomorrow afternoon against Xavier. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin Badgers tournament play in the Big Ten starts tomorrow as well. They'll take on the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota. Your Badgers sports update is sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:06.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. We have talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a plan to solve your situation right now. It will not go away if you bury your head in the sand. Call now, 844-222-1192, or visit rightchoicetax.us.
Hey, John Mercure here for my good friends and trusted advisors at Annex Wealth Management. Boomers, Gen Xers, Millennials, it's time to talk to Annex Wealth Management. You've all got unique challenges, we all do, but they're ready no matter where you are on your financial journey. Annex operates as one team. The financial planning team is in-house. Same with their investment, tax, and estate planning teams. Build security with a partner on your side for unbiased advice. Their goal is a plan that preps you to maintain your desired lifestyle throughout retirement. You'll always have a local team working on your behalf. I know, I work with their teams. It's easy to meet with Annex. They've got branches in Brookfield, Mequon, Lake Country, downtown inside the Pfister. They're in Appleton, Madison, Northern Illinois, and Florida. Plus, if you want to meet online, that's no problem. It's called Annex Everywhere. Financial planning at every level. Annex Private Client, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Ignite. Check out annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. I did that years ago, and schedule your own appointment. It's Annex Wealth Management.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Mike Spalding.
So happy you're with us. It's still sunny out there right now, Mike, at 42 degrees.
I'll take it.
Yeah. At 5:09, we want to talk about the lead situation in Milwaukee public schools. There is no safe level of lead in the human body, and several Milwaukee public schools have been confirmed by the city's health department for lead poisoning in students. Testing of facilities are being done, but there could be 100 MPS buildings built during that time where lead paint was still used. So our Sean Brinda is at a location, a pop-up lead testing clinic today. WTMJ's Sean Brinda was there. Sean, what did you learn? What did you see?
Hey, Julia. So, yeah, I'm at the 16th Street Community Health Clinic Center at their Parkway Clinic on 20th Street in Milwaukee. There were about 5 families that came in today to get their children lead tested. And usually these clinics are very safe. Usually parents come in, they sign a form, they let them know who their child's pediatrician is. That way the clinic can contact them and make sure that they're checked up on regularly to see if there is any lead within those children, that the pediatricians know exactly what steps to take next. Pretty much what they had students do today was a little thumb prick. If the lead exposure was below a certain amount, they would go home If a lead is above a certain amount, then they would have to do a blood draw. From what I've talked with experts today, there have been no blood draws reported today, but overall, it's been pretty productive for the clinics so far.
And Sean, this is one of many, right, that the health department and MPS are putting on. There's another big one over the weekend. Am I right?
That's right, Michael. There are about 4 other clinics that are set up in the next coming days. The big one happening this upcoming Saturday on March 15th at Bradley Tech High School. That's going to be taking place on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then the 16th Street Clinic on 16th Street, across the street from Coggle School, that's going to be taking place on next week, March 19th on Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. There are 2 other clinics that are happening, one at Children's Wisconsin's Next Door Clinic on 2561 North 29th Street. That begins March 20th. That takes place every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. And then at the McCannon Brown Homeless Sanctuary, that is going to be taking place on select Saturdays. And a way people can get in contact to know those times is to contact Children's Wisconsin.
And Sean, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but did you hear about Trowbridge School in Milwaukee? It's set to reopen on Friday. So that's really interesting. Do you think that that's a good sign?
I think that is a good sign, Julia. But keep in mind, they still have 10 other schools that they need to test. So while it's great that Trowbridge has its students getting back to class on March 14th, we could be opening another can of worms depending on what kind of lead they find at these 10 other schools within Milwaukee Public Schools.
WTMJ's Sean Brenda, who's been on this lead issue from the beginning. Sean, thank you so much.
Sure thing.
So with the Trowbridge situation, the health department and MPS says that their lead hazard remediation efforts were successful. They did multiple rounds of cleaning and inspecting. So students and staff will be welcomed back inside on the 14th. So this is in 2 days on Friday. So MPS is working to ensure students and staff only drink from filtered water stations too. Didn't even think about that one. It is 5:13 on WTMJ. Coming up next, CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett joins us, and your traffic and weather.
Steve Scafidi is your guide through the world of politics.
And I'll just tell you, I'm worried about this because I think we should be an ally of Ukraine. What do you think? There are also righteous fights. And the people of Ukraine are fighting for their freedoms and their liberty.
On the Political Power Hour.
This guy is erratic, and I don't know if it's because of his personal issues or his inability to see them.
About? Look, let's leave that.
Weekday mornings from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
Hey everybody, Debbie Lazaga here for my friends at Kohler Services. Now, you haven't been putting off your bath or shower remodel, have you? Well, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. They're family owned for 150 years, and Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. They've got a great deal going on this month. Get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you, it is beautiful. They use the Luckstone shower portfolio. Luckstone is their crushed stone material that they make the walls out of, and it looks just like marble. It is gorgeous, high-end stuff. So if you are at all interested in upgrading your bath or shower, make sure you head over to KohlerServicesWI.com to get your free quote with fast professional installation always included. And don't forget that great deal for this month, $1,000 off and no payment financing until 2026. It's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Traffic is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 and Layton Avenue in Greenfield. 23rd and Lincoln and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee. Great bargains and a great cause. You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
516 traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga.
All right, still dealing with some issues northbound on 41. Right about at Burleigh, we got a crash off on the left shoulder, and that is slowing things down for sure. Out of the Zoo interchange all the way up to Burleigh. We've got slowing on the southbound side, too, just south of Appleton Avenue all the way down towards Capitol Drive. Northbound 43, lots of company. It's basically a parking lot out of the Marquette all the way up to Keith. The southbound side slows down right through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge all the way down to the KK River. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, mostly clear tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow you get to see the sun, 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, a chance of thunderstorms at night, 70 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, there's a chance of showers. It'll be windy, a high of 57. Sunday, a few flurries are possible. Get colder, a high of 39. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 41 degrees.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit davedracamp.com.
He is CBS News chief Washington correspondent. He has awesome podcasts, and he also loves the music that's playing right now. That's why I have that. And he has The Takeout, Agent of Betrayal, The Double Life of Robert Hansen. It's so crazy, a self-proclaimed patriot, but really a traitor, a so-called man of God when it was revealed he was sexually betraying his wife and more. That podcast, Agent of Betrayal, is unbelievable. And Major also is on CNN Digital and has his own show now. Major, is it called The Takeout officially now?
Not yet, but soon.
What is it called now?
America Decides. But obviously that name had relevance and shelf life in 2024, but America's decided. So America Decides really doesn't work anymore, but it's a matter of redoing a studio, hiring some more people to help me out.
Graphics.
The transition is underway, but we're not quite there yet.
Major, has the White House grounds crew decided yet whether or not the Teslas remain parked outside? Are they still outside the White House?
Can the reporters drive that red Tesla?
Yeah, I don't know if today the South Lawn is still a pop-up Tesla dealership. It might still be. I don't know. It sure looked like one yesterday. And that played out at a couple of different levels. One, that was meant to identify Elon Musk as still a prominent, trusted, admired advisor of the president. Two, to buoy Tesla's stock price, which has been getting hammered in the last few days, if not the last few weeks. Underscore the president's alarm at protests and other things at Tesla dealerships, saying, oh, Elon's being unfairly blamed for things.
Mm-hmm.
And fourthly, kind of a signal, an unambiguous signal to cabinet secretaries who got in Elon Musk's face in private last week. He's still a top dog around here, and don't you all forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Major, President Trump's nothing if not unconventional, I guess would be a way to put it. But is yesterday an example a little bit of maybe flying a tad too close to the sun when it comes to some ethical concerns? Or is this just in Washington who the president is, and this is just what's going to happen for the next, a little bit under 4 years?
So I think an operating philosophy for candidate Trump starting in 2015, President Trump once he was elected and took office in 2017, in his post-presidency and to his return to the presidency, and now very much in it, is this. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Whatever it is, whatever that rattles people's cages, tramples on norms, trying to overturn a legally and verifiably calculated presidential election. What are you going to do about it? And whatever you're going to do, I'm going to fight back harder. I'm going to push back harder. I'm going to win the meta political argument. So, to your underlying question, wait a minute. Elon Musk gave Trump's campaign about $260 million that we know of in direct contributions to a supportive super PAC. Now he's a top presidential advisor. He and his associates have unlimited access to all federal databases, which Elon Musk may or may not use in the future, but he certainly knows all about his federal contract competitors now in ways he didn't before. And now, the South Lawn is a dealership for Tesla, at least for 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a direct, handoff to Musk? Isn't that open government favoritism?
At least ethical.
Trump would probably say, Trump would probably say, yeah, it is. What are you going to do about it?
Okay.
I'm president. I'm going to make these decisions. I've tapped this guy to help me out. He makes a great car, and I want the whole world to know about it. And if you got a problem with it, do something.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't know what to do about it except call it out and say, I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah, and there's no rules with the President of the United States with advertising like that, so that it's uncharted territory.
Right.
So
most presidents just haven't gone that far and been that obvious about it. Trump has no problem being completely obvious.
Mm-hmm. And you are also the author of Mr. Trump's Wild Ride. Takes you into the inner workings of the president's first term. Really worth a read right now. Major, besides Elon, what do you see different with Trump's second term so far? What I see is that he's courting Republican lawmakers more, not being enemies. Have you heard, in the New York Times, what he's doing with them on Marine One?
So there's a lot more courting because there are a lot more Republicans who are receptive and who have been sort of either persuaded by or motivated by MAGA politics. That wasn't the case in 2017. Lots of Republicans were not sold on MAGA as a political theology or a political organizing principle. Most Senate and House Republicans are. There are a few holdouts, but they're very small in number. So Trump is much more willing to reach out to people who he knows are already supportive of him. He doesn't want to reach out to people who are going to scorn him or shun him or backstab him, at least rhetorically, in the hallways of Congress, which happened a lot during his first term. And operationally within the White House, there are far, far fewer people who are trying to tap any brakes on Trump's instincts, impulses, or attitudes. There were a lot of people tapping the brakes in lots of different directions in the first term. They're not there now. This is full speed ahead, and that's why the country and Democrats and people around the country, either with tariffs or federal workforce layoffs or other things, are sort of like, wow, this is happening so fast. Well, one of the reasons we're seeing so much action so quickly on so many different fronts is no one's tapping the brakes. I'm not saying they should. Presidents are elected. Presidents get to push their agenda. Those around him now are helping him push it far more aggressively and with greater speed than they did the first term.
Major, what do people care about in D.C. right now? And I think what I'm asking is, what are the movers and shakers? What are the decision makers focusing on? Because we can throw the tennis ball here and we can throw the tennis ball there, and we in the media, I'll include us in that as well. We'll chase those tennis balls. But when you're in Congress, when you're in the Senate, what are they talking about? Is it the cuts at the Department of Education? Is it tariffs? Is it the tiff with Zelensky? What do they actually care about? And what do you think could be acted on here in the next couple of weeks and a couple of months?
Well, the first thing that has to be dealt with is averting a government shutdown, however that's going to happen. And we're going to find out in the next 48 hours. And that's going to be a small test of Trump's clout with Republicans. It certainly succeeded in the House earlier this week. House Republicans stood together, passed it, sent it to the Senate. We'll see if Senate Democrats are bluffing or if they're really going to try to force Republicans to negotiate a different deal than the one presented to them. That's first thing. The next thing after that is, what is the shape of the Trump tax cut going to be? And I won't get into all the weeds, but when Congress puts together a budget resolution, it sets a target number for tax cuts. That target number is $4.5 trillion over 10 years. That barely makes room to extend on a permanent basis the tax cuts Trump passed in 2017. The problem for Trump is he wants a lot more additional tax cuts added to that. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits. He wants to have tax deductible status for your interest on your car loan, just to boost the U.S. automakers. All of those tax cuts cost even more money. They're not included in that big $4.5 trillion 10-year number. How do you figure that all in there? Because if you keep cutting taxes, you've got to cut other spending to make it at least balance out slightly. Because Trump also says, oh, yeah, we're going to balance the budget in a couple, 3 years. We're going to pay down the debt. How are you going to do all those things? That is the central preoccupation of Washington now and will be until all that's resolved, because it cuts to the two essences of federal government power: taxation and spending. What are you going to cut in terms of taxing? What are you going to cut in terms of spending?
He is CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, and also on CBS Digital. America Decides. Make sure that you watch him. Major, thank you so much.
Thanks. Talk next week.
Thanks. It's 5:25.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them eyeball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stacked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
I'm John Mercure. Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. About 15% of adults in the U.S. report problems hearing in one or both ears, and it can range from mild to severe hearing loss. If you have hearing loss, even if it's mild, it can impact your quality of life and ability to work or socialize. Here to tell us more is Jamie Jensen, an audiologist specializing in hearing loss with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are the leading causes of hearing loss?
There are a number of things that can cause or contribute to hearing loss for people. Long-term noise exposure without the use of hearing protection, head trauma. There are certain medications that can cause hearing loss. Some people experience a sudden hearing loss. This typically occurs in only one ear, and often we don't know the exact reason for that hearing loss. Ear infections can cause hearing loss, and then, of course, the most common cause of hearing loss is aging.
What are the signs of hearing loss?
For people who have some hearing loss, they may start noticing that they're having a hard time following conversations, particularly if there are two or more people talking, or if there's background noise present in the environment. They may find that they're asking others to repeat more often, or turning up the volume on the TV, often louder than is comfortable for other people in the room. They may find certain voices, such as women or children, are more difficult to understand.
Why should people with hearing loss seek treatment through the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network?
We have an experienced team of audiologists, ENT physicians, and neuro-otologists who will thoroughly evaluate your hearing. Based on the type and degree of hearing loss, whether it be mild, moderate, or severe, we will recommend a hearing treatment option that will best fit your hearing needs and will help you to meet your personal goals.
She's Jamie Jensen. Jamie, thank you for being with us today. To find a doctor who's right for you, visit freightert.com.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses, and all of us who live here. Sponsored by the original knowledge broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salasinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, last few months we have had a lot of newsworthy insurance-related events, regular stream of things that remind us of the importance of properly designed insurance programs. So give us your perspective from where you sit.
Sure, Vince. Thanks. Great to be here. It really has been a tough finish to 2024 and a very difficult start in 2025. A school violence event in Madison in December, a terrorism event in New Orleans on New Year's Day, the California wildfires, just a massive event for the residents and certain insurance companies. There have been some employment matters in the news here recently as well. Lastly, a cyber data breach impacting over 60 million students and teachers.
So, Jeff, for folks listening right now, what should their primary takeaway be from all this?
Vince, quite simply, a properly designed insurance program has never been more relevant, more important than today. If you're not getting good guidance and options from your insurance provider, or you're buying online, you're jeopardizing your assets, your business, maybe your future.
Okay, so families, businesses, why should they work with R&R Insurance?
We deliver thought leadership around asset protection. It's what we do best. We inform you of where the opportunities are in today's market. We work with you to best position your account, your company for review by an underwriter, and R&R can get multiple companies competing for your account. It'll cost you nothing to sit down and talk with R&R Insurance. If you're looking for a better insurance buying experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff. And you can get started online right now. Find out more at myknowledgebroker.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour: a Wisconsin teen heads to trial for being accused of killing his mother.
Mike Spalding in for John Mercure. A tragic outcome as a result of a high-speed crash.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. We do have a crash northbound on 41 at Burleigh off on the left shoulder. That's backed up all the way back to the zoo interchange. Southbound on 41 also slowing down from Silver Spring down past Capitol. Westbound 94 backing up out of the Marquette to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound, watch for the delays past an accident at 70th Street. Those delays kick in at 76th all the way through the Stadium interchange. And eastbound on the bypass, we're seeing backups out of the Hale interchange all the way past Forest Home. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly clear tonight. The low will be 32. Sunny tomorrow. 59 inland, 50 at the lake. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 41 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 15-year-old teen is now charged for killing his mother and bound for trial. He's accused of that. Reed Galinsky. He faces one count of first-degree murder. According to court records, he may have been inspired by a murder scene in a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers. He's accused of hitting his mother over the head with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her to death in their Franksville home. He's now on bail at $1 million bond, and he'll return to court this summer.
Charges have now been filed against the mother of a 13-year-old girl who went missing in Oak Creek for nearly a week earlier this month. 37-year-old Luisa Asala is in custody, facing felony charges of interfering with child custody. Her daughter, Lillian, was found safe on Friday. Bond has been set for Asala at $20,000. She's due back in court on March 20th.
A 17-year-old girl is killed after a reckless driving crash in Racine.
Tariana Scales was driving a car with 4 friends in it when they were hit near 16th and Taylor over the weekend. Scales died Tuesday. At least one of the teenage passengers also remains in the hospital today. That according to the Racine Journal-Times. The driver of the vehicle that hit them was clocked at 90 miles per hour just moments before the crash. That driver, Salvador Coronado, remains in the hospital as well. He spent some time behind bars in the past for fleeing an officer. Charges have yet to be filed in this case. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
And Trowbridge School in Milwaukee is set to open later this week. In a joint statement between MPS and the Milwaukee Health Department said that the school is set to reopen on Friday. It revealed that lead hazard remediation efforts were successful after multiple rounds of cleaning and inspection at the school. MPS says it will continue to work to ensure students and staff only drink from filtered water stations.
A former Lincoln County Correctional Sergeant is now charged with assaulting an inmate. Jason Meister is accused in the court record of slamming a female inmate's head into a window, then assaulted her, resulting in multiple injuries. This apparently happened late last month. Surveillance footage, according to court records, captured the attack, leading to Meister's firing and criminal charges. He now faces up to 7 years in prison.
A major announcement now from Spirit Airlines. This coming one day after Southwest said it plans on getting rid of free checked bags to create, quote, a more profitable future amid changes in the airline industry.
It's been a rough couple of years for Spirit Airlines. A failed JetBlue merger and then bankruptcy. Spirit has dealt with changing customer demands and has tried to position itself more like a mainline airline, now announcing it has officially emerged out of bankruptcy. Many experts were skeptical it would be able to emerge as a standalone company without joining another airline. Spirit says it cut $795 million in debt and is coming out a streamlined airline. Alex Stone, ABC News.
There's a new way to add your name to the Wisconsin Donor Registry.
You can now do it when you fill out your taxes. You'll notice a box for organ and tissue donation on your return this year.
Just check it, and boom, you'll be added to the Wisconsin Donor Registry. The move is an effort to boost the number of registered organ donors in Wisconsin and narrow the gap between supply and demand. More than 24,000 Wisconsin taxpayers have already taken advantage of the new effort. Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
With the NFL draft right around the corner, what should fans expect if they're headed up to Green Bay? Police Captain Ben Allen told WTMJ.
Sure, it's really that know before you go concept. Utilize all of the social media that's out there, from what the Green Bay Police Department will be posting, the city of Green Bay. You mentioned the NFL One Pass. That is going to be a treasure trove of information for those attending, from parking to restaurants to when things are happening on the footprint space.
Captain Allen says that the draft will be both a family-focused festival and a global TV production. Draft set to begin on April 24th.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The NFL league year and free agent signing period is now open. Aaron Rodgers is reportedly drawing interest from the Steelers and the Giants. Both teams will be on the Packers' schedule this season. No game for Brew Crew today. The Crew will take on the White Sox at 3:05 p.m. tomorrow. College basketball. The Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 against Xavier. Same time for the Wisconsin Badgers. They begin playing the Big Ten tournament tomorrow afternoon against the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 5:37.
Get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month at PellaWI.com.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
For Jenna, helping others find joy is so rewarding. It's why we love to do what we do.
I enjoy simplifying the process for the customer, taking the time to listen, and finding the right solution.
Randy understands that everyone's situation is different, so we don't just slap together cookie-cutter solutions.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
Jake arrives at your free in-home consultation with pre-prepared materials to fully envision your dream Pella build.
We're with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Whether you're working with Ryan or another Pella consultant, we don't go away after the sale. We're ready with anything you may need before, during, and after installation. And right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Wisconsin's Afternoon News. If you missed any of our show yet today, you can always listen back via our Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast. That podcast feed sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDracamp.com.
All you need to do is text WAN, W-A-N. It stands for Wisconsin's Afternoon News, to the Siding Unlimited Talk and Text line, WAN 855-616-1620. Get right to our podcast and you can subscribe. At 5:38, he is Chief Meteorologist Brian Nisnansky, wearing a pink tie today. You are definitely... Steve looked
Spring
jealous.
fever.
Steve Shamras looked like he was not in the fashion game today.
He is pretty much every day. That's just the way he is. No, just...
No, you're not joking.
No.
That's so great. He's proud of it, too. Hey, I want to tell you something, Brian. So remember when I was telling you about the cheese brine that's being used in Greene County?
Yeah.
To treat
okay.
the roads when there's snow?
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
well, I interviewed the Greene County Highway Commissioner, Chris Narveson, and I got an answer for you on if it stinks. Remember, you were worried about that?
Yep. You would think, possibly, yep, some moldy cheese.
Take a listen.
The best I can, it doesn't stink, but it has a, for dairy farmers, if you think about what a milk house kind of smells like, that's kind of the smell that it has. It's not a bad smell.
Okay, I've been at a dairy farm. It's stale milk. That's what it smells like.
So it stinks. It doesn't stink, but it doesn't smell very good.
He also
said...
said...
That's basically what he said.
Yeah. He also said that the cheese brine is an industry secret. That, it's kind of like pickled, and there's a certain amount of salt. Apparently, to treat the roads, it needs to be, above 23% salt. But that's kind of the secret, Brian, behind cheese tasting good.
And as far as the brine goes on the roads, If it does the job and it's better for the environment and it's easy to get, like, go for it. I don't even care if it's, if it like reeks. I mean, if it stops me from sliding like on the road, like, I'm all good with it.
You're in your car anyway. You're not going to smell it. Doesn't matter. Are we going to need some of that? Are we going to need some of that brine coming up? Like, we're watching the temperature just like rise and rise.
I know. We got a lot more spring-like days than winter days, definitely, on the 7-day forecast. And we technically are still in winter for, I think it's another at least maybe a week total. I think the 20th. Yeah. So, again, we're looking very warm here heading over the next few days. In fact, 50s tomorrow and 60s on Friday, and a threat of not only storms, but maybe even some stronger storms Friday night, guys. We're already watching that.
Oh, that's not good.
A couple factors with it, but the Storm Prediction Center has us level 1 to 2 across southeastern Wisconsin out of 5, so a slight risk for some of us here. So what's going to happen is a line of storms is likely going to develop out ahead of a very intense area of low pressure to the southwest of us. However, given the overnight arrival with this Friday night and also an influence from a cold Lake Michigan, I think our severe threat is minimized because of the lake, but we will, of course, keep an eye on it.
Brian, are a few flurries possible on Sunday?
Could see a few flurries Sunday. Yeah, we're not looking at any accumulation, but kind of a more winter-like day on Sunday, a high of only 40 degrees. But that's the low point. Then we shoot back into the 50s next week again. So definitely spring is in the air, guys.
Brian, is this the new? It doesn't seem like we got a lot of winter. I know we got a couple of pretty heavy snowfalls, but it seemed like they were, there was like that Friday night into a Saturday morning. And I can't really remember another time where I started up the snow thrower. Is this just winter, like in Wisconsin now? I feel like a rube asking it, and I feel like I should knock on wood, but it just seems like, I don't know. It's just this.
Last year and this year, yes, definitely there was less snow. This year, though, much of winter was below average with temperature. We didn't get the snow, but we definitely had the cold. January and February were both below average. So. Temperature-wise, definitely a solid winter. Snow-wise, not so much. But we have time to make up for it. One thing that has happened over the past 10 years or so, we've had some snowy Aprils. So we'll have to just kind of wait and see how things play out. But right now, I'm looking at more rainier, warmer storms than snowier ones, guys.
All right, Brian, take us home with the 5-day.
Sure. For tonight, mainly clear skies, a low of 32, inland 27. For tomorrow, sunny, 50, inland 58. For Friday, partly cloudy, getting breezy, up to 63 in Milwaukee, 70 inland. Again, that round of storms is Friday night, likely around midnight or early morning hours Friday night. Now, Saturday, mostly cloudy, windy with a chance of some rain showers, a high still of 61, but falling late in the day. And then Sunday, partly cloudy, breezy, maybe a stray flurry and a high of 40 degrees. So just one chilly day there. The rest of the day is looking spring-like.
He is Chief Meteorologist Brian Osnansky on TMJ4. Watch him at 6. You can see his great pink tie. All right?
Very vibrant, yes.
Yes. Thanks, Brian. It's 5:43 on WTMJ.
He's going to fire up a 3 for the win, and he hit it! Game time has arrived! Lobs to Giannis, who flushes it in with one hand. Lillard, three-pointer for the lead. It's game time. Green going to fire up a 3 from the top of the arc, and he sends the ball no line. Takes it down the lane. He'll lay it in with another foul. Oh, baby. The Greek freak is unleashed.
The sound of the Bucks is here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ. Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. You know, I get a lot of questions about QC Kinetics treatments, people asking if they should consider it for their own joint pain. Well, here's how you know. If you answer yes to any of these questions. Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees or hips or shoulders or other joints, trouble sleeping or walking? Do you want to avoid surgery, a long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answered yes to any of these questions, don't wait. Call now. Call QC Kinetics and ask for your free consultation and learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can help you get lasting relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Burkhart Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burkhart Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Let's get you ready to safely with our Debbie Vozick. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey, Julia. All right, we still have this accident northbound on 41 at Burleigh off on the left shoulder, so that's something to keep in mind, slowing down from Blue Mound Road up to that point. On eastbound 94, they cleared the accident at 70th Street, so just a little bit tight right past that area. And the westbound side's got some slowdowns from 20th Street all the way through to almost Hawley Road. We do have some debris in the roadway on Highway 175 southbound right about at Wisconsin Avenue. This is the northern side of the stadium interchange. Center lane is blocked with the debris, so heads up with that. And northbound 43, a heavy ride from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
547 on WTMJ. We are remembering and honoring Buck star Junior Bridgman, who was at a fundraising event yesterday and suddenly said to everyone, "I'm sorry, I think I'm having a heart attack." And he was rushed to the hospital, did not make it. He was 71 years old. Bridgman, a Milwaukee Buck, became 10% minority owner of the Bucks. The billionaire did so much for the community. So I wanted to talk to Jim Paschke. He's a retired sportscaster, TV voice for the Bucks. His first season as play-by-play for the Bucks was Junior Bridgman's last year in the NBA. He shared his love for Bridgman as a player and admiration for his business sense. And Jim Paschke says he just talked to Junior Bridgman in front of the public just last week.
Oh, he was a great player. He would jump out of the gym and, used primarily as a sixth player off the bench. Great sixth man, and he accepted any role that he was put in. He never complained about anything. He just played great basketball as he was asked to do. And, and then his character and personality along the way just fed into this notion that he was a complete team player and one heck of a basketball player.
That's what I've heard, is his generosity, his spirit, his influence. Do you think that being a high-level athlete like that helped him become just an incredible businessman and philanthropist?
Based on my experience, that his character was the reason for all of his success.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the nicest people, if not the nicest person I've ever met. He's just, somebody said this, and it's not the first time I've said it, but gentleman. Mm-hmm. He was a gentleman who was fantastic, and he never changed. He was humble over all the years. He was accommodating, welcoming, and it was never about Junior Bridgman. And I think those qualities are what led him to success in basketball and in business.
How are you doing from this news?
Well, Julia, I had a very tough day yesterday because 1 week to the day, I had been with Junior Bridgman on Yeah, just a week ago, we did a program for Fiserv. They had 65 bankers from 34 states in Milwaukee, and Junior and I conducted an interview situation for them prior to dinner. And so that was really wonderful. It was at Discovery World, and the audience absolutely loved his presentation. And I interviewed Junior for about 45 minutes, and he was engaging, and the crowd was in rapt delight for 45 minutes. No one was on their phone. There was complete attention. And that's the kind of magnitude that he had and the kind of draw that he was, just so easygoing. And I'll never forget this fact, and it's kind of off the path a little bit, but I asked about tariffs a week ago on Tuesday, and I got a brilliant, considered, and engaging answer. And so that's who Junior Bridgman was. I could ask him about tariffs, and that doesn't happen that much in our line of work, but just a brilliant guy, and the fans and the crowds that have been around when I've been with Junior absolutely love him, and there was good reason.
Isn't it incredible, just the reflection of, I think he made maybe at most a little over $300,000 a year, and a lot of people say you wouldn't even know it that he was a billionaire. That's how humble he was. But I mean, purchase that he had in so many different things, including a 10% stake in the Bucks. I didn't realize that he was a bottler too. Do you know about that? I mean, that was a huge thing to be a bottler for Coca-Cola.
Yes. I believe his highest salary in the NBA was $350,000, and everyone today is looking at that as being not a lot of money compared to today. But when he made $350,000, it wasn't bad. He was doing very well, and he was always a great steward of his money. One of his initial business dealings that very few people realize or talk about certainly is the fact that the owner of the Bucks at that time, Jim Fitzgerald, started a cable television company and offered investments to the players. He said they could put in $150,000, and Junior took advantage of that. And Junior told me last week that when he cashed that check at the end of that arrangement, it was 6x. The players got $900,000 for their $150,000 investment. So that was kind of a tiptoe into the business world. Then, of course, he got into the fast food business, owned over 500 Wendy's, Chili's, and Pizza Hut restaurants. And then in 2016, he decided to sell those and purchase a Coca-Cola distributorship in 3 states in the United States and across all of Canada. And the reason he made that move was he was one of Coca-Cola's largest clients when he had all the restaurants. And so he had a close tie with the company, and he was at various meetings with Coca-Cola. And he said he was at a meeting when they asked people to raise their hand if they had had 3 generations of Coca-Cola wealth in their families. And he said that got all the way up to 5 generations. And he understood that. Exactly. He said he understood that that could take care of his family for a very, very long time. And that was one of the thought processes that he had going into the Coca-Cola bottling business. And then in addition to that, recently, within the last several years, he had at one time was thinking about buying Sports Illustrated, and he ended up buying Jet and Ebony magazines. And he's using the content from the magazines to get into developing feature films and that type of thing. So that's what he was working on most recently. And the movie Hidden Figures, I believe that story was first published in either Jet or Ebony magazine. So he had a great mind for how to see one thing and turn it into something else.
A small seed and grow it into, wow. What?
Exactly. So that's kind of a beginning to end synopsis on his business evolvement, but brilliant mind. And, he didn't stop at one thing. He was always looking to move into new ventures. So very entrepreneurial that way and very successful in every case. I interviewed him 2 or 3 years ago at a golf outing. Again, absolutely off the charts spectacular. People compliment me for those sessions, but I have nothing to do with it. I simply ask questions. It's all based on Junior. So, yeah, I wish we had it too. I wish I had one of those two that you could watch because you'd really enjoy it.
Oh, such an honor talking to you, Jim. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia.
Again, that's Jim Paschke, retired sportscaster and TV voice for the Bucks. Goes back to the 70s with Bridgman. I thought it was so interesting. I didn't realize that Bridgman was behind the movie Hidden Figures. And to have the mind of evolution, like going from Chili's to Coca-Cola, the bottling company, knowing this person, knowing that person. He almost bought Sports Illustrated, but he owned Ebony and Jet Magazine. And then he was going into whatever articles hit, he could have made a movie out of it. That is so... He was so brilliant.
Well, and it was at a time, too, when athletes, they made a lot of money, but they didn't make, like, forever change your life money, never have to work again when you're 33 years old. And that's why that statistic that floats around the 70% of athletes back then were broke within 5 years of retirement. Yep. That's why that existed. And I think that's what makes his story all that more remarkable is you're working to play in the NBA while at the same time, like planting the seeds of a business empire. He was on Here District with Marcus Johnson, our Bucks Plus podcast. And he talked about the first franchise he was ever given failed. Had to sell it. Yeah, had to sell it, but then kept that relationship going with Wendy's, got back into the business, and then that's when he's like, I learned a lot that first time failing. But yeah, just really a remarkable human being, and just seeing the wide outreach of support, whether it's from, locally here, we had John McLaughlin on. Oh, wow. Well, he was emotional. Yes, he had the words from Jim Paschke that we just heard, but you also had people like Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James and people like that who were saying literally a guy like this paved the way, Doc Rivers, for how the modern athlete thinks, and that's just a really incredible legacy, I think, to leave.
So well said. Junior Bridgman was 71 years old. It's 5:56 on WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Wisconsin State Fair could get an upgrade.